It's a very well-coached team, one of the winningest programs, or the winningest program in terms of the Mid-Atlantic over the last 11 years, I think 232 wins. So Scott Koval's done a great job. And I'm sure he's seen the same thing that you're talking about in terms of, Macon wants to go to our bigs. And, they got some size, but probably not the depth that we have. And so the best thing that's good to try to take that away is deny those passes and double team them and really try to take that away from them. So the Jackets going to have to do a good job of that. One way, obviously, is have some of the perimeter guys come out and make some shots and really, make DeSales really kind of pick your poison on the defensive end.
The Yellow Jackets 11-1 here at home. We mentioned they are the regular season champions in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Their 5th consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament. Their 7th consecutive 20-win season. So Coach Nathan Davis has got quite a juggernaut going here for Randolph-Macon. He's overall 7-4 in the NCAA tournament, 7-2 in neutral floors, 0-2 away. And oddly enough, you play 11 games in the NCAA tournament over his first 4 years here. Nothing at home, and hopefully the home confines help to get someone like Connor Sullivan back into the rotation or back into being able to shoot the ball well for the Yellow Jackets. Connor did not play well in the one game down there at Salem. 2 points and only 11 minutes of play in that ball game. A little bit of foul trouble, but we need him to make some shots. Chris Hamilton's going to be a big factor off the bench to try to open things up so the ball can go through the low post.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we've certainly the Jackets with Connor, certainly with Connor Sullivan, that he hadn't been shooting the ball well, like you said, Marty. Really could use it, not just necessarily from 3, but just he's got the ability to pump fake, take a couple dribbles, pull up for a jump shot, maybe even go to the rim on occasion too, and just need just a little bit of that out of him, so we're not as one-dimensional on the offensive end. Chris is as good of a shooter as he is. Obviously, he's going to catch it and shoot it, sort of like a Reister out we saw from Mary Washington in the first game. So, you need that guy like Connor that gives you a little bit of versatility and how you can score. And that'd be a big boost for the Jackets if he's able to come out and just make in the way that we've played at home this year. Only 1 loss, and that was the first ball game of the year against Christopher Newport. Have shot the ball extremely well here at times. You think about some of the games against Guilford and Virginia Wes and Hampton City, we really just took care of business here at home and made a lot of shots. So hopefully that comfort factor that Coach Davis talks so much about being able to play at home holds true here in the NCAA tournament.
I mean, you turn and look at the Bulldogs of DeSales University. They come down to Ashland out of Center Valley, Pennsylvania. They're 18-9 overall, 10-4 in the conference. They made their way into the NCAA tournament by claiming an automatic qualifier, winners of the Freedom Conference Tournament Championship, 7-4 on the road. Their program, their 4th overall appearance in the NCAA tournament, first since 2010. The Yellow Jackets actually eliminated them in that 2010 tournament, beating them in the round of Sweet 16. That was up at St. Mary's. All-time, they're 5-3 in NCAA tournament play. But a very scrappy team. They've won 8 out of 9 coming down the stretch and played very well throughout the course of their conference tournament.
Yeah, they really just down the stretch. It's after a 72-59 loss to Manhattanville where gave up 55% shooting from the floor and 11 threes, to where I think they finally had to make some adjustments on the defensive end. They really buckled down, really started playing a lot better. Put Travis Bryant at 6'7" in the starting lineup, gave him a little bit more size, protected the paint a little bit more, and as a result, since then, like you mentioned, they won 8-9. I believe 4 of those opponents shot the ball less than 37.5%. 2 more were less than 40%. So you look at how much better they defended in the last 10 ball games of the season. It's going to be really, really important because the first half of the year, they had a lot of ball games where they were giving up 55+% shooting on the floor and lost some ball games to some teams that would clearly be in the lower half of this league. But they've done a lot better. Their 1 loss was at Eastern after they had clinched a regular season title. It would have been very similar to had the Jackets had gone up to W&L and lost that ball game. Same sort of circumstances there. So playing a lot better. Now got some experience. Got 2 senior guards at all league. And, really going to be, they're a savvy bunch. I think a hungry bunch. Anytime you play with a team with a bunch of seniors on it, obviously they realize the next loss is the last chance to lace them up. So you expect a scrappy effort out of them, too.
And they won their championship ball game. It was a 73-64 overtime victory over Misericordia University. Mike Coleman, the Freedom Conference Player of the Year, led the way with 28 points and 6 rebounds. Paul Palmer also with 17 points in that ball game. They made 11 three-point shots in that ball game. Palmer was 5 for 5 on threes. Cody Deal also 3 for 7. They're a pretty good three-point shooting team, shooting almost 38% as a team from the floor from beyond the three-point line. They've had 6 games during the course of the season where they've made over 10 threes, so dangerous from beyond the three-point line. And Coleman at 6'1", a senior guard, he doesn't shoot the ball that frequently from beyond the three-point line, only shooting about 28% beyond the three-point line, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds per ball game. One thing that I noticed, he gets to the free throw line very frequently. He shoots 150 free throws on the season. As a team, they make their way to the free throw line very frequently as well. And one of the stats you used to always talk about, really even more so before the three-point shot came into play, if you can shoot more or make more free throws than your opponents have shot, and that's the case for the Bulldogs. They've made 495 free throws on the season. Their opponents have only shot 485, so they get to the free throw line very frequently, and they're a good free throw shooting team, shooting almost 77% from the line as a squad.
Yeah, they get about 25% of their points from the free throw line, and to put that in context, I mean, that's the highest percentage of any of the 4 teams at this regional. So it's they do a nice job of that. And a team that's going to play at a little bit slower pace, they're you look at their possessions per game and all that, certainly one of the slower teams, if you will, possession-wise. So really going to have to put it in a half-court set. But one thing they do, they're very turnover-prone, particularly when you look at the team having some, look at teams that has as many senior guards as they do. About 20% of their possessions end up in turnovers. So that's going to be something to be careful of. I've never seen a team win a league that's, I think, -3 or 4 in turnover margin. And if the Jackets can apply some good ball pressure, get in the passing lanes and create some turnovers and get some deflections and runouts and really speed up the tempo of this ball game, that's going to be something DeSales is going to have to guard against. You're going to have to do a good job of taking care of the ball and really making it a knock them down, drag them out type of ball game.
And much like the 2 teams we saw in tonight's first ball game, the Eagles from Mary Washington and the Pride from Springfield, another deep team. They've got about 10 guys that are going to play in their rotation, move a lot of guys in and out, but they have very good experience, 7 seniors on the roster, 5 juniors. As a team, they're averaging about 74 points a game, shooting 45% from the floor. We mentioned about 38% from beyond the three-point line, and a very solid 76.7 from the free throw line. And they're winning the battle of the boards by about 7 rebounds a game. Really, in their starting lineup, you look at it, Andrew, not a whole lot of size. You mentioned the lineup change that they made, putting Travis Bryan, the 6'7 junior out of Horsham, Pennsylvania, into the lineup. Otherwise, they're about 6'1", 6 foot. So the Jackets should have a little bit of a size advantage down on the low post.
You would think so. So just hopefully it's a matter of being able to take advantage of it. We thought in the first game, Mary Washington, similar size to what DeSales has, and they did it. You thought they were a little undersized. They're going to have a tough time defending the post, and nothing could be further from the truth. So the Jackets are going to have to do a good job getting the ball in, working it inside out, not being as content to take jump shots from the perimeter, at least initially. At least, if the ball, if you work it in and out a few times, and that's where the offense comes from, and so be it. But I think maybe we got a little bit too complacent with that, particularly early on against Hampton-Sydney, and that's the reason we got down. But you definitely got an advantage in the interior. I think you've got to take advantage and get to the free throw line against these guys and really just kind of wear them out, win the battle of the boards, and see if you can take care of things that way. And at the same time, the other end, just defend the three-point line and not let them, that's how an underdog can kind of hang around. They get a hot from 3, then you got to do a good job of defending that, because if you look at their top 8 scores, each one of them for DeSales has got is competent and can take the three-point shot and has done so at least a couple of attempts per game throughout the course of the season.
And really, if you've been listening to our broadcast all year long, we probably hammered this too much, but the fact that oftentimes the Yellow Jackets in their games where they've struggled, they have not gotten off to a good start. And I think that you could really look at that. That was a case in point down in Salem a little over a week ago. Actually, exactly a week ago. We're down 28-8 to start that ball game against Hampton-Sydney. And really, the first 5 minutes of that ball game was probably the worst I've seen us look on the offensive end of the floor all year long. And I think the Tigers have made some defensive changes against us. But certainly, playing here at home, you've got to come out with the energy. We talked about the first ball game here tonight, how much energy the Eagles brought from Mary Washington in the first 10 minutes of that ball game really set the tone for the rest of the game. The Jackets are going to have to come out and play hard in the first 5 minutes. The shot may not go down for you, but you need to come out and get yourself into the ball game early, and they've struggled with that some during the latter part of February.
Well, you're right. I think defensive intensity, making plays on that side of the ball, I think that's where it all comes from. That's where it came from for Mary Washington in the first ball game. And so I think that's where it's all got to start for the Jackets. And Marcus Badger, and in particular, is tough. He's a tough matchup. If you've got to try to go by him, that's not easy for a point guard to do. And so it's all going to start, I think, with him. And he's got to set the tone on the defensive end, get in there, getting some plays, and then hopefully we can get some stops and really start on that end too. But I think you're right, Marty. It's key that we don't let DeSales get up to a good start. We come out with a lot of emotion, the opportunity to get to play at home.
And this is the second ball game being played in Crenshaw Gymnasium tonight. The first ball game saw the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington advance to the second round of the tournament. They were 78-58 winners over the Pride of Springfield College. So Rod Wood and his team will wait to see who wins this ball game. The second round game will be played tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here at Crenshaw. Both teams for the second ball game tonight have made their way back to their benches. We'll quickly take a moment to give you the starting lineups. First for the visiting Bulldogs from DeSales University. They're coached by Mr. Scott Koval in his 21st year. They come in with an 18-9 record overall, 10-4 out of the Freedom Conference. They earned an automatic qualifier, winning the Freedom Conference Tournament Championship. They will start number 5, Mike Coleman, the Freedom Conference Player of the Year, the 6'1 senior out of Edgewood, Maryland, 16 points and 5 rebounds per ball game. Number 14, Paul Pammer, a 6'1 senior out of Laurie Station, Pennsylvania, 9 points and 3 rebounds per contest. Number 23, Cody Deal, the 6'3 sophomore out of Palmyra, Pennsylvania, 9 points and 4 rebounds. Number 12, Mike Golden, the 6' junior out of Percassie, Pennsylvania, 5 points and 2 rebounds per ball game. And number 30, Travis Bryan, the 6'7 junior out of Horsham, Pennsylvania, 3 points and 5 rebounds per ball game for Bryan. For the Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon, they come in with a 20-6 record overall, regular season champs in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference tournament. They got into the tournament by way of an at-large bid. They're coached by Mr. Nathan Davis, the ODAC Coach of the Year. They will start number 3, Marcus Badger, a third-team All-ODAC selection, 6'1 junior out of Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, 9 points and 3 rebounds per contest for Marcus. Number 24, Connor Sullivan, the 6'1 junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Connor averaging 11.5 points and 3.5 rebounds per contest for the Yellow Jackets. Number 11, Lamont Moore, the 6'4 sophomore out of Waverly, Virginia. Lamont averaging 6.5 points and 4.5 rebounds per contest. Number 21, Joe Assell, the third-team All-ODAC selection, the 6'7 junior out of Portsmouth, Virginia. Joe averages 9.6 points and 4.7 rebounds for Randolph-Macon. And first-team All-ODAC performer, senior, number 23, Andre Simon, 6'4 out of Newport News, Virginia. Andre leads the Yellow Jackets in scoring and rebounding at 15.2 and 7.4 rebounds per ball game. Yellow Jackets 11-1 at home here, Andrew. You mentioned the only loss in the season was the opening home ball game against a very good Christopher Newport team. Since then, they've gone 11-0 for the rest of the way and played much better here at home. I think some of the ball games, you see the ball goes down from three-point range. Certainly Chris Hamilton's shooting display against Hampton-Sydney. We played very well at home against Guilford, very well at home against Virginia Wesleyan. It's going to be interesting to see if we can get back in that role and get that energy going early in the contest.
Well, I think you're right. I think that's going to be key. And also, too, I think the experience factor, the competition that Jackets have faced, we've talked about all year long. The Jackets have faced played 15 games this year against teams in the top third of Division III according to the Massey ranking system. DeSales has played 2, splitting them. So, I mean, that's a huge contrast. Talk about 15 games against the better teams in Division III that you've got an opportunity to test yourself with throughout the course of the year. So hopefully that's something that the Jackets will be able to take advantage of.
And certainly plenty of experience playing in the NCAA tournament have the Yellow Jackets. Coach Davis has made the NCAA tournament each year that he's been here. The seniors here, Jamie Robinson and Andre Simon, the 4th consecutive year they've played in the tournament. So these guys have played. Your junior class have gone through it, really played on the road, played well on the road to the NCAA tournament. They get a little bit of a break getting home games here now, so it's going to be interesting if they can take advantage of the home court.
Right, and sometimes Coach Davis says that sometimes the guys almost try or think too hard as opposed to just getting out and running and playing and something, overanalyzing things. So I think, getting off to a good start will kind of help relax them a little bit and do those sorts of things too. But one thing that the Jackets maybe have to be is about being too amped up or too tight about that sort of thing. Just need to, but I think that's where it talks about the defensive end. If you get a few steals, a few stops, and run out a few easy buckets early, I think that's going to help relax you for the rest of the ball game.
The Yellow Jackets, the first team to take their court. They're in their home white uniforms. They will be the home team on the scoreboard. The Bulldogs from DeSales University come in their road blue with red numbers and lettering. There'll be number 21, Joe Assell, will make his way into the center circle. Jumping it up against number 30, Travis Bryan. Just about ready to get started. Our second ball game tonight from Crenshaw. Ball is up, tip controlled by the Yellow Jackets. Connor Sullivan bats it into the backcourt into the hands of Marcus Badger. Jackets open with the first possession of the ball game, working against a half-court man-to-man for the Bulldogs. Badger, top of the key, works his way to the left elbow. Now finds Lamont Moore. Pull up from 15 feet, back rim, no good. Long rebound. Lamont chases it down, gets his second shot up, can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by the Bulldogs. In the hands of Golden. Golden into the front court. Jackets fall back into their half-court man-to-man. Golden operating at the point. Starts it right side to Travis Bryan. Covered up on the perimeter by Joe Assell. 20 on the shot clock. The bounce pass across the top to Palmer. Left side now to Deal. Back to Palmer, top of the key. Back into the hands of the point guard. That's Golden. Golden bounce pass out to Palmer. 3 on the way, left side, short off the side rim. Offensive rebound to the Bulldogs underneath. Missed the short shot that was underneath, missed by Bryant. Rebound comes down to the Yellow Jackets. They race to the end of the floor. Back at it comes to Andre Simon. Joe Assell has his pass deflected to Marcus Badger. Badger, the pass goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Randolph-Macon. 19:02 to play, 25 on the shot clock. No score so far in the ballgame.
Jackets got a break there because Coleman was all alone underneath the basket getting that rebound and should have put it back in.
Lamont Moore triggers it in, finds Badger on the perimeter. High ball screen set by Assell. They reverse it back to Andre Simon. Simon starts his move down the left side, misses the runner off the glass. Pulled out of there by Travis Bryant. Gets it to his point guard, Golden. Golden into the front court. Handoff on the perimeter goes to Coleman. Reverse to the top of the key to Deal. Right side now to Palmer. Palmer uses the ball screen from Deal. Jackets double team. At it comes to Deal. Works his way to the free throw line. In the corner, at it comes to Coleman. 16 on the shot clock. Coleman baseline jumper 17 feet. That's off the side rim. 2 Jackets drop down for the rebound. Unable to save it. Last touch by Lamont Moore. It'll be a fresh 35 for the Bulldogs inbounding from the baseline. No score, 18:27 to play here first half. The inbounder will be Michael Golden. They find Coleman off the curl, shows the ball, doesn't shoot it, brings it back out to Golden. Picks up the dribble, feeds it to Deal on the perimeter. Deal working against Andre Simon. Top of the key now in the hands of Palmer. Back out, they rotate it to Golden. 20 on the shot clock. Jackets double team off the screen. Tipped and stolen by Randolph-Macon. Joe Assell comes away with the steal into the hands of Badger. Randolph-Macon into the front court. Half-court man-to-man being played by the Bulldogs. Lamont Moore right side. They'll give him room on the jumper. Connor Sullivan showed the 3. Now bounce pass low post to Joe Assell. No double team. Joe backs his man down. 3-point on the way by Lamont Moore. That's back rim. Long, cleared out of there by Palmer.
That's what DeSales is giving you, that shot right there.
They drive baseline. Golden down. Has a shot blocked. Travis Bryant has a shot blocked. Gets it to Connor Sullivan. Sullivan into the front court. Still no score. 17:35 to play second half. Cassell with the handoff to Moore. Out it comes to Connor Sullivan. Right side to Marcus Badger. Badger top of the key to Joe Assell. They find Connor Sullivan. He'll drive baseline. Misses the driving layup. Ends up on the floor. Ball controlled by Mike Coleman. Coleman into the front court. Neither team looking very good on the offensive end. Coleman keeps the dribble alive. Feeds Deal. They rotate in the perimeter to Golden. Corner now. That's Palmer. Palmer will bring it back top of the key with the dribble. They rotate it to Coleman. 18 on the shot clock. Palmer looks to penetrate. Pull up from 15 feet right side, and that's good. You can't give him too many looks. He knocks it down. First 2 points of the ballgame belong to the Bulldogs. And Connor Sullivan racing the length of the court will draw contact. And it looks like Palmer's coming up a little bit gimpy there, limping as he drew the foul. And Connor Sullivan will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And he's been dealing with some injuries all year long, really been gutting it out for DeSales. But nice job there by the Jackets off the made shot to quickly go the other way with it. And I think getting to the free throw line is going to be key, too. They didn't get any fouls the first couple of possessions after banging it down low. Sullivan makes us first. But, you know, if the pace of play keeps up, you know, DeSales might have a tough time being able to defend without fouling like we saw there. And hopefully you can take advantage that way, too.
Brian Laird and Kyle Hash check into the lineup for the Bulldogs. Connor Sullivan made his first. He's at the line to shoot his second. The foul was called on Paul Palmer. His first, the team's first. Second free throw rattles home for Sullivan. We're tied at 2. 16:48 to play. Deal inbounds, gets it to Laird. Laird into the front court. Randolph-Macon back in their half-court man-to-man. Laird with a dribble live working against Badger. Starts it just off the top of the key to Deal, and a layup underneath. Kyle Hash, they ran him along the baseline. Jackets lose him. Hash with a jumper off the glass, puts his team up by 2.
They just got squared up on the block there. Nice little easy layup.
Badger swings it left side to Sullivan. Back it comes to Badger. Now to Sullivan. Low post, left side, Joe Assell, no double team. Joe with a jump hook right in, that's good. Took the time to square it up to see where they were going to run the double team, working against Cody Deal down low, giving up about 4 inches this Deal, and the Hassel jumper ties it at 4.
Yep, and DeSales did not bring the double.
Coleman rotates on the perimeter to Laird. Laird back to the top of the key in the hands of Hash. Hash around the horn with a dribble, takes it left side, cross-court pass. Out it comes to Laird. Jackets do well to cut off the 3. Deal will now fire the 3. That side rim no good. Loose ball tipped and controlled by the Bulldogs. Hash will fire the 17-footer. That's an air ball. And a save along the baseline hustle play. That's by Laird. Throws it off of Connor Sullivan. And it'll be stay with the Bulldogs. And that's a great play along the baseline by Laird. I think the Jackets might have given up on that rebound a little bit as we go to immediate timeout. Ball game tied at 4. 4-4 with 15:43 to play. Out of the timeout, the Bulldogs will have it with 30 to shoot. Air ball off that jump shot there, Andrew. I think Connor Sullivan was trying to shield a man away from it, but great play by Laird to throw it off for Sullivan to retain possession.
Good hustle not to give up on it and to maintain possession there. But I think the big thing so far for the Jackets, DeSales 2 of 8 in the early going, or the big thing for DeSales, even though they're not shooting the ball well, and we're kind of getting the opportunity to run out, but we're not. DeSales is taken away from. We're getting some longer rebounds, getting the ball, free throw line extended and all that, but just not able to really run and finish with it. So I think DeSales has done a nice job, even though they've not been able to, shoot the ball particularly well so far. Of at least taking that away from the Jackets, which I think is going to be very important. If they're going to struggle and not shoot the ball very well, to be able to get back defensively.
And you can see on the defensive end, the Bulldogs clearly are backing off of Marcus Badger and Lamont Moore in the early going, saying, we will give you those jump shots. They're going to force somebody else besides, force them to make some shots to win the ball game. They're really trying to cover up on Connor Sullivan in particular. I'm sure they'll see the same thing as Chris Hamilton checks in the ball game. And Jackets do have some substitutions. It'll be Hakeem Holmes on the floor along with Trent Walker and Jamie Wilson. Lamont Moore and Andre Simon stay on the floor. 15:43 to play here in the first half. Ball game tied at 4.
We've got a couple of the officials over here with us over at the table.
Yeah, Chris Marine, our assistant SID here, running the stats for us just down the table from us. 2 of the officials over to talk to Chris.
Maybe it's a shot clock thing, maybe. That's the only thing I can think.
I'm not sure there wasn't a shot. They were looking to see whether it was a 3 versus a 2. But the inbound will belong to the Bulldogs. Flash into the ball, that's Laird. Laird working against Jamie Wilson. Dribble live out high, brings it to the center of the floor. Feeds it right side in the hands of Poorman. Poorman with the dribble and he travels. Good ball pressure. They jumped out on that ball screen. The handoff was supposed to go to Mike Coleman. And Matt Poorman shuffles his feet, and that'll be a turnover.
I think speed him up a little bit on the offensive end, create the turnover there.
Trent Walker now in to operate at the point for Randolph-Macon. Clears the timeline. Uses the ball screen from Hakeem Holmes. Lamont Moore on the perimeter. Jamie Wilson right wing. Thought about the 3. Bounce pass low post. Jump hook by Hakeem Holmes. No good. Tipped and controlled by the Yellow Jackets. Holmes gets it back. Out it comes on the perimeter to Wilson. Lamont Moore, Trent Walker kept that alive down low. Holmes now on the perimeter. Rotates to Wilson. Open 3 top of the key. And that's good. Jamie Wilson. Mike Coleman didn't close him out, and the Jackets have their first lead of the ball game. It's 7-4.
That's probably the one-point guard you can't slough off there from us on the perimeter. You're going to have to get out and guard him.
Jackets with the deflection on the defensive end, off the hands of Andre Simon. Ball goes out of bounds into the Randolph-Macon bench. Chris Hamilton and Evan Jackson will check in for the Yellow Jackets. 14:50 to play first half. Randolph-Macon up 7-4. So it's Hamilton, Jackson, Wilson, Holmes, and Trent Walker. So a complete second 5 on the team for Coach Nathan Davis. Inbounds comes to Brian Baird. Laird, that is. Swings on the perimeter to Poorman. Back it goes to Laird. Poorman on the perimeter, chased there by Jackson. They feed it left side to Kyle Hash. Hash back across the top to Laird. Feeds it to Poorman. Now right side in the hands of Pammer. Back to Pammer, right wing, 7 on the shot clock. Poorman, they're deep on the floor now with 4 on the shot clock. Laird forced to fire a 3. Doesn't draw iron. Jackets get the rebound. Good defensive stand that time by Randolph-Macon. Trent Walker into the front court. Swings it left side to Wilson. Evan Jackson working the low post. He gets it along the left baseline. Back out it comes to Wilson. 3 on the way. And that's good. Jamie Wilson inside, outside. 2 for 2 on threes. Jackets up by 6.
Ball game at home against Hampton City. Did the same thing at first. Come off the bench, knock down a couple of threes, and doing the same thing here.
Pammer against pressure. Jackets double team, trying to step through. Loose ball, controlled by the Bulldogs, and they'll get an easy layup. They threw it over the top. Nice catch by Laird, and he makes them pay.
Man, that's a tough break for the Jackets. They're very well defensive. If Wilson's maybe an inch taller, he probably gets a tip there.
Hamilton front court. Squaring up there against Palmer, outside the left hash. Swings the top of the key to Evan Jackson. Right side now to Jamie Wilson. Wilson top of the key, Akeem Holmes. He'll fire the three. That's back rim, long, cleared out of there by Brian Laird. Laird quickly in the front court to Hash. Hash will use the dribble, take it to the right baseline. Now circles back top of the key. Swings it on the perimeter to Palmer. Palmer guarded by Hamilton. Back on the perimeter, they feed Laird. Jackets looking to double team off that screen. Cross-court pass, out it comes to Hash. Hash, Penner, short jump shot, no good. Akeem Holmes battles for room, back and goes to Hash, and he sticks it back for two. Jackets had it for a moment. Kyle Hash cleans it up for two for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's a nice job of DeSales just attacking the boards and knocking out of Akeem's hands.
Hamilton right corner, top of the key now to Evan Jackson. Mid-post, jump hook, that's good for Akeem Holmes. In rhythm, catches it, rotates to that right hand, puts it up for two. Jackets up by 4.
That's going to be tough for DeSales to stop if he can catch it and shoot it like that.
Front court, Palmer rotates it on the perimeter to Laird. Right side now to Hash. Hash, and that's an offensive foul. Again, you jump that screen. Trent Walker right there. And Hash gets called for the push-off with the left arm. So Trent will draw the foul. 2 team fouls now against the Bulldogs. Jackets have yet to have been whistled for one. 12:34 to play. It's 12-8 in favor of Randolph-Macon.
And good sportsmanship there for Hash to help Walker up off the floor after the foul there. And
Jamie Wilson takes the inbound in the backcourt, working with Evan Jackson. Joe Asella's checked back in the lineup for the Yellow Jackets. Wilson starts at left side to Trent Walker. Walker top of the key to Evan Jackson. Popping out, it's Jamie Wilson. 23 on the shot clock. Hassell comes to set the ball screen. Wilson down the lane, his floater, and that rattles home. Wilson now off the bench with 8 points for the Yellow Jackets. Randolph-Macon up by 6. Front court come the Bulldogs. On the perimeter, that's Palmer. Swings it right side in the hands of Golden. Golden working between the circles, brings it right wing to Hash. Hash looks to go baseline, trapped against the double team, can't step through. Tipped and controlled by the Jackets. Good deflection and steal by Chris Hamilton. Front court now, Randolph-Macon. Walker works his way to the top of the key. Bounce pass, right side low post. Joe Assell back at it, come to Walker. 17-foot on the way. That's off the side rim, cleared out by Hash. Hash will push in the front court. Down the left side, nobody stops him, and he'll finish with the left hand. Just worked his way to the left hand, off the glass for 2, and Jackets forgot to stop the ball.
Well, Kohler did a nice job of kind of moving in the lane that really prevented anybody from getting in this path there.
Jamie Wilson front court. Chris Hamilton now beyond the top of the key. Left side, swings it to Trent Walker. Walker loses his footing, gets it to Joe Assell before the turnover. Assell now operating just off the left block. Back out it comes to Evan Jackson. Jump on the way, back rim, no good. Cleared out of there by the Bulldogs. In the hands of number 32, Kohler.
Bulldogs doing a great job on the boards, limiting us to one and done.
Kohler to Hash. Right side, that's number 14, Palmer. Down the lane, and he'll finish with the right. Actually, it spins out. Nearly down, comes out. Evan Jackson with the rebound. Jackets on the run. Trent Walker pull-up jump shot. That side rim no good. Early in the shot clock, rebound comes down to Palmer. Bulldogs into the front court. Golden with the dribble. Rotates it to Palmer. Palmer being guarded by Hamilton on the perimeter. They'll use Kohler for the ball screen. Out it comes to Kohler down the lane. He goes, kicks it opposite, jumper on the way. That's Hash, and that's 3 out of that right corner. Good ball movement. It starts with Kohler penetration, and the Bulldogs are back within 1.
And that's sometimes what happens when you gamble and you try to trap like that out there. It can leave a wide open shooter, and that's what happened there.
Hamilton in the front court, guarded there by Palmer. They swing it to Walker, right side now to Jamie Wilson. Bounce pass low post. Joe Assell working the right block. Jump hook right hand, no good. Battle for the rebound. Trent Walker comes down with it, and he'll get the reverse layup. That's the second time Trent's dropped down and gotten an offensive rebound. Pushes his team back out by 3.
Yeah, he's got the only 2 for the Jackets.
Front court, they find Palmer. Top of the key, they swing it to Golden. Right side now to Hash. Bounce pass nearly stolen. Loose ball on the deck. They're going to say a held ball, and that should belong to the Bulldogs. And give, it looks like Kohler credit diving on that. Actually, number 33, Foreman comes up with it, and that'll send us to immediate timeout with 9:41 to play. 16-13 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. And A lot of energy. Then the Jackets like they get to about a 6-point lead. Then a big three at that right corner by Kyle Hash.
Well, I think that's, if the Jackets are going to play this well, and they've been trapping everything, particularly when Coleman's in the ball game, listed at 6'1", but might be a little generous. You got some long arms like Lamont, that's defending him and trying to stop. That's going to be tough to throw over, particularly if they're screening and you got another big up there that you're doubling with. So, that you're going to gamble and you're going to get some steals and some run opportunities. I think is if they can get a pass over the top of it, you might get a wide open shot at the end result. So you gamble a little bit. You hope that you make the right play more often than they do in that situation. And for the most part, they have. But that was a big shot there for Hash in the three. To knock that down and cut it at that point in time to lead to 1.
And Jamie Wilson leading the way for the Yellow Jackets off the bench with 8 points. Randolph-Macon shooting 35% right now, 6 of 17 overall, 2 for 4 on their threes. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs 6 of 15 in the early going, 1 for 3 on their threes. Leading score in the first half for the Bulldogs, Kyle Hash off the bench with 9. He averages about 14 points a game off the bench for the Bulldogs. So both benches getting it done in the early going for these teams tonight.
Yep, and particularly Wilson. Hash, one of those guys for DeSales. I think it's been a guy that's scored for them all. He's second leading scorer. But Wilson, we've seen it before, but certainly not when you look down at the minutes that he gets. He's provided a big spark for them. As we looks like the Jackets can go back with their starters on the floor.
Yeah, Akeem Holmes actually the only one to not have started. They've got Andre Simon, Akeem Holmes, Lamont Moore, Marcus Badger, and Connor Sullivan back on the floor. 9:41 to play here in the first half. Inbound will be from the baseline. Mike Coleman will trigger it in. Handoff goes back to Coleman. They forced it on the perimeter in the hands of Golden. Chased there by Badger. 26 on the shot clock. Golden right side. Jackets do a nice job of cutting him off before he gets to the basket. Forced it on the perimeter in the hands of Kohler. Now Coleman, left side, his pull-up from 15 feet. That's long off the back rim. Moore drops down for the rebound. Gets it to Badger. Jackets quickly into the front court. Feeds it left side to Moore. Rotates it top of the key to Holmes. He's a swing man. Finds Sullivan now right side to Badger. Popping out top of the key, it's Andre Simon. Now Connor Sullivan, deep three. That side rim misses, but Lamont Moore for the cleanup. Sort of a bad miss by Connor Sullivan. Draws the opposite side of the board, but Lamont Moore to track it down. Puts it up for an easy 2.
Just like he drew it up, I'm sure.
They'll give him an assist off the board there, but 5-point lead for the Yellow Jackets. We go under 9 minutes to play. Right side, the Bulldogs find Coleman. Cut off on the baseline. They rotated to Deal. Poorman on the perimeter. Good ball move as they find it left side to Pammer. Pammer being defended by Sullivan. They swing it back to Golden. 11 on the shot clock. Golden with the dribble live just off the top of the key. Ball poked away for a moment. Now 5 on the shot clock. They feed it out to Deal, who fires the 3, and that's good. Deal, deep 3, deep in the shot clock. Pulls the Bulldogs back to within 2. Big shot for DeSales. Opposite end, Akeem Holmes will tee the 3, and that's good. The big man shows some range. Top of the key is where he likes to shoot that from. Teams trading threes. 21-16 now, 8:05 to play, first half. DeSales in the front court, swings it to Golden. Ball nearly stolen by Connor Sullivan. Got a deflection out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. Substitution for DeSales, number 32, Kohler goes out. He'll be replaced by number 30, Travis Bryan. Inbound will be from the sideline. Golden to trigger it in. They find Coleman beyond the top of the key, guarded there by Lamont Moore. Jackets hedge on the screen. They feed it back to Bryan. Bryan at the left elbow looking for help. And a bumping foul, pushing foul there against Marcus Badger. That'll be his first, the team's first. So Randolph-Macon playing very well defensively, Andrew. They don't commit a foul till the 7:50 mark in the first half. And Trent Walker's going to check in to replace Marcus Badger. Media timeout. Randolph-Macon up by 5, 21-16. And you can certainly see the depth for Coach Davis. We've talked about it all year long, but you got a little bit of separation there with your second 5 on the floor, and certainly Jamie Wilson shooting the ball well. And you've got the luxury of Marcus Badger maybe a little tired there. You bring Trent Walker back in the lineup.
Right, certainly the depth there. I think when you look at our second 5, that's really where we started to get a little bit of an edge in this ball game. Open it up after trading some baskets earlier is when both teams kind of went to their bench, and the Jackets are able to, in particular Jamie Wilson, make some plays and get out to basically about a 2-possession lead for the most part of this first half. But the Jackets, I think it's going to come down to making jump shots. And you've seen how they've played our guys in a post, and they're right there ready to take away the right hand of our guys when they catch it in the block. So they're daring our guys to shoot, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the 3 ball, but those long-range jump shots. See Evan take some, Trent take a couple as well too. I mean, we're gonna have to make those. And that's what the defense is giving us. Our guys are more than capable of doing it. We just need to go out there and do it. And if we can knock down those jump shots, we're going to be tough to defend.
And you can see defensively, Randolph-Macon taking a slightly different approach. They set a lot of ball screens on the perimeter to try to get the handoffs and exchanges. And the Yellow Jackets are jumping them and almost double teaming off the screen. The smaller guards for the DeSales Bulldogs are having a tough time passing over. That time they passed over the top. They got a decent look from Brian from about the elbow, and he wouldn't take the jumper.
Right. Saw a little bit of the same approach against Sydney in the home game here. And
inbound in the front court belongs to the Bulldogs. They get it to their point guard, Golden. Brings it right side into the hands of Palmer. Back to Golden just off the top of the key. Coleman cuts through. Dribble live for Golden. Top of the key, they find Coleman. 22 on the shot clock. Lamont Moore on Coleman. Backs his way down. Kicks it on the perimeter in the hands of Golden. Golden working against Walker. Right side with 15 to shoot. That's Palmer. Guarded there by Sullivan. Attic comes to Coleman. He'll reset the offense. Handoff on the perimeter goes to Bryant. No backdoor cut there. Bryant bounce pass on the baseline. Tough shot by Coleman. Fade away, no good. Jackets battle for the rebound. Trent Walker comes down with it. Forced a tough shot. Walker clears the defensive rebound. Jackets in the front court. 3 on the way by Akeem Holmes. That's long. Ball tipped and controlled. Loose ball on the deck. Held ball and a timeout called for by DeSales. They get the timeout before the tie-up. So 7 minutes on the clock. The Bulldogs will come out of the timeout with possession. And Andrew, in all honesty, I'm not sure if you need that 3 from your big man. And I think that might be what Jarrell Christian, the assistant for Randolph-Macon, telling Akeem Holmes. You can get that shot almost any time you want it. Probably a little early in the shot clock to be firing that 3.
Yeah, just made one last time down, and sometimes you want to keep going till you miss, but you're right there. The other thing that it does, too, when the Macons continue taking these long jump shots is longer rebounds. So we can't take advantage of our size and ability to rebound offensively when a rebound's coming 15 feet back out. I mean, nobody's underneath to make a play there. So that's the other key thing, too. It's one reason DeSales has done a good job on the defensive glass is, our big guys have not been in a position to really be able to make a play on the glass.
This is the second ball game being played tonight at Crenshaw Gymnasium. The first ball game saw the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington win 78-58 over the Pride from Springfield College. So Mary Washington advances to tomorrow night's 7 o'clock ball game, a second-round contest. In this ball game, Randolph-Macon with 7 minutes to play here in the first half has a 5-point lead over the DeSales University Bulldogs. Out of the timeout, DeSales will have possession. Inbounding in the backcourt, it'll be Cody Deal working with Michael Golden. Golden into the front court. Jackets showing their half-court man-to-man. Bryant on the perimeter. Handoff goes to Coleman. Coleman cross-court pass. Open 3 out of the corner. That's an air ball, no good. Coleman gets the offensive rebound and the stick back. Coleman, that's the second time he snuck in on the backside and gotten a second chance opportunity. Jackets in the front court. Bounce pass on the baseline to Andre Simon. Working the low post. Draws a double team. Out on the perimeter comes to Connor Sullivan. Sullivan refeeds Simon. Motions for the others to cut away. Simon off the glass, no good. Rebound by Deal. Into the front court come the Bulldogs. Golden right side to Palmer. Deal now on the perimeter, down low. And that's going to be a foul in the low post against Lamont Moore. The ball rotation, Deal fires a bullet pass down low to Bryan. They're going to say Bryan was locked up underneath by Lamont Moore, and it'll be a foul against Moore. Not a shooting foul, only the first against Lamont, second on the team. But it'll be a fresh 35 in the front court for the Bulldogs. Jamie Wilson checks back in along with Evan Jackson and Chris Hamilton for the Yellow Jackets. Inbound will be from the baseline. Golden to trigger it in. They find Coleman, right baseline. Guarded there by Walker. Tries to back his man down. Attic comes. Jumper on the way. That's an air ball missed by Bryan. Jackets clear the rebound. Wilson to the front court. Picked up there by Golden. Keep the dribble alive, working between the circles. Starts at left side to Chris Hamilton. He'll fire the 3. That's partially blocked. Air ball picked up and finished by Trent Walker. Walker with 2 buckets in this ball game, both off of misses on the offensive end. Randolph-Macon back up by 5.
Kind of the same thing, just get an offensive rebound, be in the right place at the right time.
Handoff on the perimeter, goes to Coleman. Trent Walker now guarding Coleman on the defensive end. Backs it out on the dribble. They're looking for the ball screen by Deal. They'll swing it instead opposite way to Hash. Hash asking for the ball screen, working against Hamilton. 11 on the shot clock. Hash loses it for a moment off the official, back into Hash's hands. On the sideline, stripped by Chris Hamilton, gets it to Jamie Wilson. Wilson doesn't have numbers, rotates it right side to Trent Walker. Walker back at it comes to Hamilton, thought about the deep three, instead feeds Walker on the right wing. At it comes to Joe Assell, rotates it to Hamilton left side. Back it goes to Walker with 17 on the shot clock as we approach 5 minutes to play first half. Walker 17-footer, that's off the side rim. Cleared out of there by Bryan. Atlet comes to midcourt to Golden. Quickly in the front court come the Bulldogs. Golden down the lane, misses it with the left hand. Ball tipped and out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. Last touch by Joe Assell. Jackets didn't stop the dribbler, but they missed the driving layup.
Another good job DeSales kind of does. Just you kind of have a guy kind of drifting in the lane that gets in the way of our defenders from being able to really stop the ball.
4:50 on the game clock. It's 23-18 in favor of Randolph-Macon. And I think they're going to. I think they may check to see whether that layup actually drew iron, as to whether that should have been a reset of the shot clock. And I think it did from our vantage point. And substitutions for the Bulldogs into the ball game. Looks like Ryan Callahan, number 40, also number 11, Brian Laird. Laird will trigger it in from the baseline. They find Coleman along the left baseline, immediately closed out by Walker, swings it on the perimeter to Hash. Right side now to Laird, his three on the way. That's back rim, no good. Jackets with a rebound in the hands of Evan Jackson. Jamie Wilson finds Chris Hamilton. Hamilton drives.
Goaltend.
That's got to be a goaltending, and they call it. You call it before they call it, but Hamilton finishing from the left side, and that ball nearly thrown out of the basket. Late whistle, but it'll go was 2. Jackets now with their largest lead of the ball game. It's 7 at 25-18. Good call on your part.
Thank you. Every now and again I get one right.
Front court, Laird swings it to Deal. Deal with a tough catch. Finally gives it off to Coleman on the left side. Coleman being chased by Walker, uses the dribble, now rotates it back to Laird. Laird drives baseline, cut off there against the double team, swings it opposite to Coleman. Coleman fires the three. That's front rim, no good. Joe Assell with the rebound. Outlet of Wilson. Wilson front court to Hamilton. Hamilton steps through for the layup. In transition, Chris Hamilton with back-to-back layups, known as the three-point shooter, but this time he fights his way through. Good catch in traffic. Takes it to the hole. Jackets up by 9 with 4:09 to play.
Yeah, haven't really seen that one too much in Chris's repertoire, but that was in 2 straight possessions. Got it in transition, went content with taking some of the comfort range, drove, and made some plays. And that time, just very strong with the ball, got through his defender and got a layup out of it. So Jackets pushed this thing out to 9, and really it's been our second 5 that's done it when they've been out on the floor, maybe because you've got 2 shooters with Jamie Wilson and Chris Hamilton, that the offense has opened up a little bit more. It gives you a little bit more versatility. That's why, but certainly they've been the catalyst here in the first half.
We asked you to stay with us at the half. We have either one of 2 interviews. I'm a little confused now. We asked Rod Wood, the head coach from Mary Washington, to join us, and then Jeff Burns, our AD, came up as well. So we'll see which one we have on at the half. But either one should be a very interesting interview. Jeff was the head of the South region, maybe talks about the selection process. If it's Rod, we get him to talk about his big victory here at Crenshaw earlier tonight. Jackets out of the timeout, 27-18, and you've got that interview, so I'll turn the headset over. You'll have to figure it out.
Gee, thanks.
Into the front court come the Bulldogs. Laird with a dribble, swings it left side in the hands of Callahan. Callahan bounce pass to Coleman. Coleman cross-court pass, open 3, right corner. Jackets fly at him, that's a miss. Tipped, and they're going to say a foul on Chris Hamilton. The miss was by Hash out of the deep corner. Rebound came down to number 40, Callahan. Before he could take it up, he gets slapped across the wrist by Chris Hamilton. It'll be Hamilton's first, the team's third. Back to immediate timeout with 3:48 to play. Randolph-Macon up by 9. Pretty cleanly played on the defensive end. Randolph-Macon has only been whistled for 3 fouls. The Bulldogs of DeSales with only 2, so not a whole lot of free throws being shot in the first half.
Well, both teams taking a lot of jump shots, so that's going to lend yourself to that sort of thing. But really impressive when you consider as much pressure the Jackets are trying to apply. When you're trying to bring all that, and guys trying to step through, they're doing a good job of not creating contact on the defensive end. So very good job there out of the Jackets. I think you have to be pleased with their defensive efforts so far. DeSales shooting 32%, 6 turnovers. So I think you take your chances on that one. I think the only reason it's maybe Jackets have been able to get a lead, they haven't really been able to get to run out quite as much until the last couple of layups by Chris Hamilton. So I mean, you look at our benches, we just get the stats. The bench has got 9 of our 11 field goals right now. Jamie Wilson with 3, Trenton Walker, Chris Hamilton, and Akeem Holmes all with 2 apiece. So
right, you look, our starters have only got 2 field goals right now, so you're thinking that second 5 has certainly given the Yellow Jackets a lot of energy and played very well. And out of the timeout, it'll be Chris Hamilton, Jamie Wilson, Marcus Badger, Andre Simon, and Joe Assell. 3:48 to play here in the first half. Randolph-Macon with a 9-point lead, but out of the timeout, number 40, Ryan Callahan, the 6'8 freshman from Washington, New Jersey, stepping to the line for the Bulldogs. He will shoot 2. And the Yellow Jackets doing a pretty good job so far, Andrew, of defending Mike Coleman. We mentioned he was the Player of the Year in the Freedom Conference. As the first free throw is no good, long off the back iron for Ryan Callahan. Coleman's, the couple shots that he's had, he's really had to force a couple.
Late in the shot clock.
Second free throw also no good. Battle for the rebound. Hash nearly came up with it.
Should have had it.
Instead, it's Jamie Wilson. He gets tripped in the backcourt, tips it to Simon. Simon quickly to Badger. Badger into the front court to Andre Simon. Jackets barely beat the 10-second clock. Hassell, front court. Wilson finds Hamilton. Hamilton had the 3 for a moment, passes it up, feeds Badger. 15 on the shot clock, right side now to Hamilton. Deep 3 on the way. That rattles off the mark, nearly down, cleared out of there by Callahan. You can see Chris is itching to shoot the 3 ball. Had a good look, couldn't get it to go.
Yeah, it's halfway down.
Callahan, front court, works it to Hash. Hash, out it comes to Coleman. Laird, right side now to Deal. Back out it comes to Laird with 18 on the shot clock. Laird being chased by Wilson. Cross-court pass back to Coleman. Coleman asking from Laird to come and get it, and he does. 10 on the shot clock. Dribble live, high post, they find Deal. Deal has the ball deflected by Andre Simon. 5 on the shot clock. They're deep in the backcourt. Hash recognizes. He'll fire the deep 3, and that rattles out. Nearly got that to go. Jackets with a rebound.
That one would have gone down.
Hamilton, front court, bounce pass on the baseline. It's going to be batted out of bounds. It'll stay with Randolph-Macon. It's Connor Sullivan and Lamont Moore check back in. 2:39 to play here in the first half. Randolph-Macon up 27-18. So it'll be Sullivan, Moore, Badger, Simon, and Holmes on the floor. Hash, Coleman, Hammer, Deal, and the big man, number 30, it looks like Bryant in the mid-post. Actually, that's Callahan. Ball comes out on the perimeter to Badger. Starts it right side to Moore. Top of the key is Sell. Rotates it left side to Connor Sullivan. Gives up to Badger on the left wing. Top of the key now, it's Andre Simon. Rotates it back to Sullivan. Connor puts on the floor. Back at it comes to Badger. Badger pull up from 8 feet. That's no good. Tip no good by Assell. Andre Simon underneath. He misses a short one. Simon gets it back. And a timeout called for is
like
one
Joe
of the Yellow
Assell.
Jackets on the floor. Joe Assell went down hard in the midst of all that traffic. And the official calls time to get Joe out of there for a moment. And the Jackets will retain possession with 34 to shoot. And I think Joe was in danger of being stepped on.
Yeah, right underneath the basket with a bunch of bodies there. And
so no change of possession.
Right.
Really doesn't change much for, I think Andre Simon was looking to rotate it back out on the perimeter anyways. Jumper on the baseline. Lamont Moore misses the jumper from the right corner. Cleared out of there by Pammer. Front court come the Bulldogs. On the perimeter, they give it up to Hash. Approaching 2 minutes to play here in the first half from Crenshaw. Randolph-Macon up by 9. Coleman drives baseline. Misses the floater, but will draw contact and a foul against Andre Simon. Again, a tough shot. He turns the corner. He's got Simon flying at him. They'll call Andre with the foul. The team's 4th, Andre's 1st. And it'll send Mike Coleman to the free throw line to shoot 2. And we've been stuck at 27-18 for a while here.
We have been. Again, you put our starters back in there, and of course you have to say something, and Coleman makes the first free throw. But the starting 5 back in the ball game for the Jackets, and combination struggled to produce points really in the first half.
Andrew Kohler checks back in the lineup for the Bulldogs. Meanwhile, Mike Coleman at the free throw line to shoot his second. Second is also good. We mentioned they come in as a very good free throw shooting team. Those 2 free throws pull the Bulldogs back within 7. They'll apply pressure in the backcourt. Joe Assell working the backcourt against Hash. With the spin move, clears the timeline, gets it to Marcus Badger. Jackets will run their offense. Badger with the dribble live. Uses the ball screen from Connor Sullivan. Reverses it down to Sullivan. Sullivan Draws contact on the perimeter by Coleman. Swings it to Lamont Moore. Back it goes to Badger. Marcus will pull it out with 8 on the shot clock. Use the high ball screen from Joe Assell. 4 on the shot clock. Badger fires the 17-footer. That's no good. Back rim and a rebounding foul called on Lamont Moore. Good defensive stand that time by the Bulldogs. They were going to give the shot to Badger or Moore. Forced a tough 17-footer by Marcus Badger. Good stop for DeSales.
Yep, good one there. The Jackets just, you're really having a tough time getting those jump shots, mid-range jump shots to go down for them here in the first half.
Inbound in the backcourt. Deal working there with Hash. Badger, Sullivan, Simon, Walker, and Hassell on the floor. Deal, bounce pass in the low post. Has his shot blocked. That was a miss down low. Joe Hassell got a piece of it, and Andrew Kohler missed the short one. He'll go out of bounds with 19 on the shot clock. 1:03 on the game clock. Inbound from the baseline. In the hands to Pammer. Pammer swings it on the perimeter to Hash. Back it goes to Pammer. A Deal out of the corner. That's a 3. Knocks it down to that deep 3. Deal gets it a go, and it's 27-23 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. Hassell front court. Sullivan with a 3 on the way. That rattles off the mark. Long rebound control by Trent Walker. 8-second differential. Game clock, shot clock. Sullivan pulls it back out to Badger. Jackets will run some clock. Up by 4. Marcus Badger signals the offense as the shot clock hits 18. Content to dribble some clock, and Coach Nathan Davis will call a timeout. 22.8 on the game clock, 15 on the shot clock. Jackets will see what kind of set they can run. They're up by 3, 27-23. That's a big 3 out of that deep left corner that time by Cody Deal.
Yeah, because we've done a nice job of kind of pushing it out a little bit to be up 7-8 points. DeSales has been struggling to score in a half-court set, and you get a chance to cut it to 4, and you get one more stop. I think if you're DeSales, you like where you are. The pace of play here in the first half, I think, is really where they want it to be. They're making the Jackets settle for jump shots a lot, and that's, I think, what you want them to do. That would be the game plan you want to try to have them do. So I think that's where you want them to be. But like I said, but a flip side for the Jackets, maybe execute here, get a play, get your bigs involved, and kind of get a little momentum going for the second half.
And you can see Scott Koval and his DeSales University staff, they've done a nice job of recognizing and coaching his guys as to who's on the floor for the Yellow Jackets. They're giving jump shots to certain guys and really trying to close out on Chris Hamilton and Connor Sullivan. The lineup on the floor for the Yellow Jackets: Simon, Badger, Sullivan, Hamilton, and Joe Assell. 15 on the shot clock, 22.8 on the game clock. Inbound goes into the backcourt. Badger clears the timeline. Man-to-man being shown by the Bulldogs. Ball screen set by Assell. Down low, they find Assell in the paint. Has his shot blocked out of there by Travis Bryan. It'll stay with Randolph-Macon with 4 to shoot. Joe turned with that right-hand jump hook and had it swatted that time by Travis Bryan.
A nice play by Bryan. It was a good set, I thought, to get Joe the ball there. He made a nice play at the block.
Inbound from the corner. Simon to Sullivan. Sullivan shows the 3. Step back, fires the 3. That's off the mark. Rebound by Hash. Bulldogs with a run out. Hash in transition, draws contact. Can't get the layup to go, but they'll call the blocking foul on Chris Hamilton. So with 3.3 on the game clock, this will be a shooting foul, and Kyle Hash will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
This ball counter, decent look considering the shot clock's winding down. He just can't quite get anything to fall right now for him. A lot of shots rimming out for him. And DeSales a nice job going the other way. Hash makes the first free throw.
And they've done a nice job of closing this lead. The Jackets were up by 9, 27-18. So right now, DeSales is on a little bit of a run here to finish out the first half. 3.3 on the game clock as the second free throw goes. And Randolph-Macon's going to see if they can manufacture something here with 3.3 on the game clock. 27-25 in favor of Randolph-Macon. Andre Simon inbound, gets it to Badger. Marcus across the timeline, quick into the front, but his floater off the glass, no good. Got a pretty decent look, a little bit too high off the glass. But our halftime score, 27-25 in favor of Randolph-Macon, the home team with a 2-point advantage.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Marty, nice job out of DeSales there to close the half, cut it to 2. The Jackets got up 9, were playing good defense, got a couple of stops, and then they made some shots at the end of the half, and the Jackets couldn't quite convert. And like I said, I think if you're DeSales, you've got to be feeling pretty good with where you are right now, going to the half only down 2. So Got to give Buzz a high five here at halftime. Yeah. We have
at the half. We're going to turn the headset over to President Robert Lindgren for our halftime interview.
Here you go, sir. I'll tell the others. So we can have an own meeting too if you want that.
Well, we got President Lindgren, who's hopefully our good luck charm here at the half. Last time we talked was a home win at Hampton-Sydney, so we're happy to have him back here, get a halftime of our ball game here at the NCAA tournament. And what an exciting atmosphere that we have here for this contest, to be able to host a home game in the first time in 10 years, first time in your tenure here as presidency. So very exciting evening here for the Jackets.
Yeah, Andrew, it sure is an exciting night here, and it is the first time since I've been here. I'm just starting my 9th year and really enjoying this atmosphere, and great crowd. Obviously a lot of our folks, but a lot of folks from Mary Washington and Springfield and DeSales as well. So we're glad to have them here, and got our band playing. I don't think they're quite used to all these media timeouts. They played more in the first half than they did for about half the season, but they sound great, so we appreciate that.
And, of course, the men not the only team in action. The women's team also qualified for the NCAA tournament by winning the ODAX last weekend. And but last I checked, kind of tough going for the women today. It looked like a great season.
The women dropped their game up in New Jersey to Messiah tonight. That's, as Coach LaHaye said, quite a storied program there at Messiah. But the women had a wonderful year, and winning that ODAC championship was a great thrill for Yellow Jackets everywhere. We really appreciate what they've done, the way they bounced back after a challenging year last year. They really played very well and represented both Randolph-Macon and the ODAC conference very well. So congratulations to the women on a great year.
And of course, it means they'll get to hang another banner across the way there, and they get started next season too, which is always fun when you get a chance to do that.
Yep.
It's hard to believe it now that as basketball season is wound down, despite the fact there's been sleet or snow on the ground, the spring sports season, baseball, lacrosse, softball, all that's underway. Tennis doesn't feel like it, but I guess we've got an exciting sports season, a spring sports season ahead of us.
Well, the spring sports season is underway. Right. Those folks have really been struggling to get those games in. All those sports are outdoor sports. We have been able to play some lacrosse on our field. In fact, the women's lacrosse game that was supposed to be played tomorrow at St. Mary's is coming down here on Sunday, because our turf field, Day Field now, is a great home venue, and the men played lacrosse a couple of days ago with snow bordering the field. It's hard to figure out where those lacrosse balls were going, but they beat Marywood out of Pennsylvania, and got a young team, but they're doing well. And of course, baseball, they have a very young team this year, but I think we'll do well, and we're really proud of our tennis program. Women's softball is getting some notice nationally in the rankings, so we got a great sports season ahead of us, but we hope some more basketball left to play here.
That's right. Well, the Jackets are up at the half over DeSales, 27-25. We have President Lindgren with us, joining us here. And tomorrow, big scholarship day. Nice to, hopefully the weather starts to turn a little bit, and all the prospective students that will be coming out here have a nice day tomorrow to be on campus.
Yeah, we have a large group of prospective students out, and we've been doing very well in our admissions season so far. Our deposits are way up, and lots of interest in Randolph-Macon these days. So we're really pleased about that, and looking forward to tomorrow, and looking forward to playing here tomorrow night. This game feels like we should be further ahead as well as we've played, particularly on the defensive end, but a few shots just haven't gone our way, and we got the lead, but we got to do a little better here in the second half.
Well, I would agree with you there. I think our defensive effort's been very good. They made some shots at the end, and ours kind of rimmed out there, and O'Connor Sullivan had a couple. But you mentioned admissions, and I know you said the other day, one of the breakfasts, a lot more this year than there were last year. Anything concrete that maybe you can attribute the increase in deposits at this point in time compared to last year?
We've been working hard on the admissions front, both for students in Virginia and outside of Virginia, and we feel like have a lot of good things going with the new buildings, the new programs that we have, both the new majors we've added in the last couple of years, our EDGE program, which focuses on students' life after Randolph-Macon. That's resonating very well with prospective students and families. The 4-year degree guarantee that we offer, folks are paying attention to. So I think there are a lot of really good things working in our favor right now. So we're pleased about that. I would like to say a word. We've got a great Yellow Jacket in the house with us tonight. Buddy Allen, who's been following the Jackets from home for most of this season, and his family are out here tonight, and we're thrilled to have him. He was a great supporter of Randolph-Macon athletic program and Randolph-Macon College, and we're pleased to have him here.
Yeah, it's very nice to have Buddy and his family here this evening. So we've got President Lindgren here at the half. The Jackets ahead 27-25. So any final thoughts for our listeners before you go root hard in the second half for the Jackets?
Well, we just got to take care of business here in the second half, and I'm sure we will. And for those folks listening, we greatly appreciate your support of Randolph-Macon. Send us prospective students and keep sending those gifts in. Those help us as well.
Yeah, very well. Well, President Ling, we appreciate you joining us. Hope you're good luck as always, and root hard in the second half of the Jackets there.
Thank you, Andrew.
And like I said, as Marty will rejoin us here, he'll take a look at the halftime stats, and second half, about halfway through halftime.
Sort of multiple choice there as far as our halftime interviews. We thought we might have Coach Rod Wood, but we'll give you the stats for the first half. The Yellow Jackets, Randolph-Macon, leading 27-25 at the half. Taking a look first for the Bulldogs of DeSales University. They're shooting 32% in the first half. That's 9 of 28 overall. 3 of 10 on their three-point attempts for 30%, and 4 of 6 from the free throw line for 67%. Leading scorer in the first half for DeSales, Kyle Hash with 11 points. He's 4 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 3 on his three-point attempts. The Bulldogs have 6 turnovers in the first half. They won the battle of the boards 24-21. Rounding out the scoring for the Bulldogs, Hash with 11, Mike Coleman with 6, Cody Deal with 6, and Brian Laird with 2. So they only really had 4 players score in the first half. 5 assists and 6 turnovers. When you turn and look at the Yellow Jackets, they shot 31% in the first half, 11 of 36 overall, 3 of 11 on their three-point attempts. That's 27%, and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Leading the way in the first half for Randolph-Macon, Jamie Wilson off the bench with 8 points. Trent Walker also has 4, Chris Hamilton with 4, Akeem Holmes with 5, Lamont Moore with 2, and Joe Assell with 2. Connor Sullivan with 2. Only 1 turnover in the first half for Randolph-Macon versus 5 assists. The Jackets led by as many as 9, and the DeSales Bulldogs went on a run. It was 27-19 with about 3 minutes left in the first half. DeSales scores the final 6 points of the first half to make it a 2-point ball game at the half. The winner of this ball game will move on to the 7 o'clock championship ball game tomorrow night against the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. A 78-58 victory in that ball game for the Eagles over the Pride of Springfield College. So Mary Washington, playing in their second NCAA tournament, advances to the second round, and that'll be a 7 o'clock tip here. But a lot to be decided here in the second half as the Yellow Jackets make their way back out on the floor. And as we talked a little bit about in the first half, you can see Scott Koval, the coach for DeSales University, has a pretty good defensive game plan. He's letting the guards for Randolph-Macon shoot the ball. He's going to make certain guys, Marcus Badger, Trent Walker, and others beat them. They close out well against Chris Hamilton and Connor Sullivan. Jamie Wilson nailed a couple of threes in the first half to really put a little bit of kink in that defensive strategy. But for the most part, the Yellow Jackets are not getting the ball down in the low post, but they like to operate. Andre Simon did not score in the first half. He was 0 for 3 from the floor. He did have 4 rebounds, but if you look for the Yellow Jackets starters, their starters only had 6 points as compared to 21 points off the bench for the Yellow Jackets. So the second 5 for Randolph-Macon certainly playing well. DeSales Bulldogs still in the locker room getting coaching advice from Scott Koval, and Mike Coleman, the player of the year in the Freedom Conference, didn't do much for them in the first half. He had 6 points, 2 of 7 shooting, 2 for 2 from the free throw line as Andrew rejoined us here. And just talking to the folks at home, Andrew, about I think the coaching, the defensive strategy for the Bulldogs really began to pay off a little bit. I think that Coach Scott Koval comes in saying they're clearly understand which guys they're going to guard out beyond the three-point line and which guys they're going to allow to shoot jump shots. And similar to what we saw against Hampton City in the quarterfinals of the ODAC tournament last weekend, and you look at only 6 points out of your starters for Randolph-Macon. If you don't have that second five playing as well as they had in that first half, the Yellow Jackets could be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, certainly. Your first five scoring, like I said, has not given you a whole lot tonight. They've not been able to. I think their strength is when you get in transition, and not been able to get them in transition. Said a couple of times, I thought Connors had some decent looks and just can't get the bounces to go for him. I think maybe it all just takes us one or two of those to kind of go his way, and maybe he starts to get on a little bit of a hot streak there. But the second five's playing pretty well. There's a little bit more, versatility in the offensive end, I think, with that five in, and it'll be interesting to see how those minutes go in the second half. Coach Davis, I'm sure I was to go with the starters to start the second half, but those guys can't get some things to go a little bit. Who's going to get those minutes come crunch time? But the big thing is they've been playing well defensively. Really right there till the very end. I think the only bad thing is out of those opportunities to run and getting some turnovers and things like that, they're just not getting the opportunities to have points in transition. And that's been key. Hopefully you keep these guys, particularly if you bring Lamont with his length and athleticism, that he's going to trap to get those turnovers and those runouts, and eventually that's going to come for you, and that's what that first five can bring for you. That's what we really need to see out of them is the defensive effort and continue to pressure and get those turnovers and, get this game up and down the floor a little bit more. For the
Jackets really did a nice job of taking care of the ball in the first half. Only one turnover. And I think that might have been a charging foul, I think, if you think back through the ballgame. At 11 of 36 from the floor, the bench guys, Jamie Wilson 3 for 3, Trent Walker 2 for 5, Chris Hamilton 2 for 4, and Akeem Holmes 2 for 5. So that's really where the bulk of your points came from. The starters not shooting the ball well at all. And you're only shooting about 31%. I think the good news is you're giving yourself enough opportunities. If the ball continues to go down, if you were combining that poor shooting with a lot of turnovers, you really would have some troubles on the offensive end. But getting some quality shots. I think you've got several of the mid-range jump shots, the 15, 17-foot jump shot. Somebody's just going to need to step up and knock them down.
Right. Sometimes it doesn't need to get more complicated than that, and just somebody's got to make shots for us. I think we're getting good shots, or shots that, when we were playing Guilford, they're going down, same thing. Guys taking shots from the elbow, it's there. And like I said, sometimes nothing more to it than that. But, the Jackets don't shoot the ball well. That's going to allow DeSales to continue to pack in the lane, take away our guys. The one thing that we did to start and didn't first couple of possessions and didn't really do as much of was to give Dre and Joe the ball on the top of the key, and let them kind of just attack the basket, just lower their shoulder, try to dribble into the lane and see if they can get some contact and make some plays that way. And didn't really see that as much. That's been successful at times this year. You just kind of spread things out and see if they can go at it. But just defensively for the Jackets, I think you can continue the same defensive game plan. I think we'll be all right. It's just, can we make enough shots there in the second half, or at least we don't make the shots, get some rebounds and some second chance opportunities.
And I think that's the one thing that Coach Davis always talks about is the fact no matter how well or how poorly you're shooting the ball, if you play defense, you're going to keep yourself in the ballgame. You've got to be happy in an NCAA tournament ballgame against a very good team from DeSales. You hold them to 32% shooting and only 25 points in the first half. That means the game's really going to be played in the 50s, maybe getting into the 60s. And I think that's, if you're going to hold a team to that limited number of possessions and that limited number of points, you've got a chance to win the ballgame, even if the ball's not going down.
Right, this is true. Now, like I said, the pace of play is at DeSales, I think, what they would want it to be, the number of possessions and all of that. Again, the Jackets have got to try to do some things like I think they were doing when they've got certain lineups on the floor to try to trap and press and speed things up and get some runouts. But I think they got to find a way to try to do that and make the most of those opportunities.
The Yellow Jackets' first team to take the floor in the second half. It will be the starters. It will be Marcus Badger, Connor Sullivan, Andre Simon, Joe Assell, and Lamont Moore. Randolph-Macon should have actually, looks like DeSales will have the first possession in the second half if that shot clock or the possession arrow is accurate across the way.
Should be Jackets' ball, because I think there's one tie-up.
Right, and they just changed it. Yep, yeah, you're right.
The second one, DeSales, I think, got awarded a timeout.
So it'll be Coleman, Golden, Pammer, Deal, and Bryan on the floor to start the second half for the Bulldogs. And Andrew's right. The Yellow Jackets will have the first possession of the second half, leading 27-25. The winner advances to play the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington in tomorrow night's second round contest at 7 o'clock here at Crenshaw. Inbound in the backcourt goes to Badger. Badger front court finds Lamont Moore left side. Top of the key, it's Andre Simon. He'll use a dribble, reverses it back to Moore. Connor Sullivan with the catch, left wing baseline. They dump it down to Joe Assell. Joe working down low against Steele. Jump hook, left hand, no good. Offensive rebound tipped and then stolen by the Bulldogs. Simon had it for a moment. DeSales into the front court. Golden brings it left side with a dribble, hands it off to Coleman. Coleman guarded by Moore. Bounce pass across the top to Bryan. On the perimeter, they find Pammer. Now top of the key, it's Steele. They dump it down, stolen by Lamont Moore. Moore picked the pocket. Badger into the front court, finds Moore racing down the court. There draws contact. They tried to feed the mid-post, and Lamont Moore gets a hand on it, knocks it away. Jackets off to the races, and a foul's going to be called in transition against Cody Deal.
That was the one thing Jackets couldn't quite do in the first half, is even get some fouls in transition to DeSales. It happened once early on, and I thought that might be an opportunity there for the Jackets, but never really materialized.
First foul on Deal, first team foul in the second half. Randolph-Macon will inbound from the baseline. Moore gets it into Connor Sullivan. Catch and shoot jumper on the way, and that battles home. Plenty of rim on that, but maybe that's going to be what get Connor started here in the second half.
Turn his fortunes a little bit. He's had his fair share of those kind of rim out on him the last few ball games.
Coleman, front court, swings it to Golden. Golden operating outside the right hash, chased there by Badger. Swings it back to Coleman. They'll use the high ball screen from Deal. Into the corner, jump on the way. The three off the mark. That was a miss out of the corner by Pammer. Backside rebound controlled by Lamont Moore. Jackets into the front court. Badger works his way down the court, misses the driving layup. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Randolph-Macon. Marcus really pushing the issue that time. A little bit of a tough contested layup, but the Bulldogs not able to control that rebound. It'll stay with Randolph-Macon.
But at least when you're being aggressive, you've got the opportunity to make things happen like that.
Inbounds comes out high to Badger. Keeps the dribble alive. Ball screen set by Simon. Left elbow. They find Joe Assell down the lane. Jump stop down low. Misses it. Tipped, and Assell gets it back. Tips it. And Badger, a foul at midcourt going to be called on Coleman. Four guys at midcourt. Combine that with a loose ball. And Mike Coleman's going to get called for the foul. Marcus had stepped in. And really tough foul there against Coleman because it's a loose ball situation. If they tip it forward, they've got a run out.
Right, and if Marcus clearly was about to catch the ball for the contact, tough foul there for Coleman, but it'll be only his first of the ball game.
So Jackets get it back. First foul of the ball game against Coleman, team second. And they got it in the mid-post just a moment ago to Joe Assell, just couldn't get him to finish. They start it this time to Lamont Moore, left side, now Andre Simon top of the key. Back to Badger. He'll bring it back to center of the court with a dribble. Finds Moore right side. Thought about the jumper, instead feeds to Assell. Poked away, nearly stolen by Golden. Joe, you can see, trying to measure to see whether they're going to bring the double team. Golden with the quick hands pokes it away. It'll stay with Randolph-Macon, inbounding from the baseline with 17 to shoot.
And after you make that entry pass, you've got to cut to the other side of the floor, take you to man with you so you can't camp out in double team.
Inbound, they get to Simon, rotates it on the perimeter to Connor Sullivan. Left side now to Badger, 13 on the shot clock. Badger with a dribble live, finds Joe Assell top of the key. 8 on the shot clock. Joe down the lane, running with the one hand, and he'll draw the foul. He was in position to get the miss, but they're going to call the foul against Travis Bryan and send Joe Assell to the free throw line. Good recognition of the shot clock by Joe Assell. Starts his move down the right side. And 3 team fouls against the Bulldogs with less than or just a little over 2 minutes played here in the second half.
More than they had in the first half.
That foul goes up against Travis Bryan, his first, the team's third. Assell at the line makes his first.
Jackets only had 2 free throw attempts in the first half, so.
Joe Assell at the line to shoot his second. Second on the way. That's also good. Pushes the lead now to 6. It's 31-25. DeSales in the front court. Deal with a touch. Gets it back to Golden. They'll bring Bryan out on the perimeter. Badger with pressure on the ball. Coleman now right wing, working there against Moore. Cross-court pass 3 on the way from Pammer, and that's good. You can see Coleman drove it and then dished to the opposite side of the court. Pammer wide open, catch and shoot, knocks it down. Badger front court, picked up by Golden. Moore on the perimeter. Finds Connor Sullivan. Showed the jumper, didn't shoot it. Brings it back on the perimeter to Andre Simon. Simon to Moore. Moore will fire the three. That's off the side rim. No good. Joe Assell with a stick back. Rebounding inside. Joe Assell with the size advantage. Pushes the lead back to 5.
Might be just the first, well, Trent Walker had a couple, but first time you either see Joe or Dre or one of our bigs really get in there, get an offensive rebound and a putback.
Bryan, right side now to Coleman. Coleman looks to penetrate. Good job by Lamont Moore. They force it on the perimeter to Deal. His pull-up from 17 feet, no good. Inside rebounding position, tipped to Andre Simon. Outlet comes to Badger. Jackets look to run. Connor Sullivan in the front court. Hands it back to Simon. Simon down the lane. Misses the driving layup. Rebound comes out to Pammer. DeSales into the front court, finds Coleman. Coleman down the lane, and he'll get the floater to go. In transition, he gets one of the better looks he's gotten in the ball game, and it's a 3-point game. 16:28 to play, second half. Randolph-Macon starts it right side in the hands of Connor Sullivan. Jumper on the way, and that's good. A two-pointer this time. Good to see him shooting the ball with confidence. He's got 2 jump shots made here in the second half.
And that was just rhythm coming off a curl. They caught and shot that play like he's run it a million times.
Pammer, right side. Ball screen there by Bryan. They rotated on the perimeter to Golden. Now it's Coleman on the perimeter, working two-man game with Deal. Coleman looks to penetrate. Gets by Moore for a moment. They swing it back on the perimeter, right side to Pammer. 13 on the shot clock. Pammer working with Bryan on the ball screen. 8 on the shot clock. Ball in the hands of Golden. He'll back it out. Working there against Badger. Deep 3 by Golden. That's banks it in. Off the square for 3. Didn't call it, but it'll count. 2-point ball game now. Jackets on top. Opposite end, Andre Simon drives the lane. His floater's good. Over the top of Travis Bryan. The Bulldogs quickly look to push it in the front court. Golden with a dribble. Starts at left side to Coleman. Coleman guarded by Moore. Cross-court pass out to Golden. Chased. Jumper from the free throw line. Blocked by Badger, and they'll call the foul. He got past him for a moment.
That's not.
And Badger looked like he might have had a clean block. And they're going to call Marcus for the foul. And it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure if they're going to call this a shooting foul or not, but we'll go to immediate timeout with 15-12 to play. It's 37-33 in favor of Randolph-Macon. The second foul of the ballgame called against Marcus Badger. Only the first foul on Randolph-Macon in the second half. But I was sort of screened by the one official, but a late whistle at best. And
yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it looked like the block was clean. Now maybe just going for the loose ball, they're going to, I think the way that the official motioned, it looked like maybe kind of grabbing at him, but that, which may have been the case. Like I said, I was a little screened by it too. But, nice defensive play there by Marcus. Shame couldn't finish the possession, but if it's just a foul on the floor, the Jackets first, and hopefully you can make another stand. But DeSales a couple times, I think that's the second 3 that they've kind of thrown in at the end of the shot clock, and had a third one that rolled around and bounced out. So, they've got a couple of those to go down for them here in this contest. But the Jackets, a lot of times really making DeSales work late in the shot clock.
15-12 to play here in the second half. It's 37-33. Randolph-Macon up by 4. They led by 2 at the half. That was 27-25. The winner of this ballgame advances to tomorrow night's 7 o'clock second round contest against the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. They claimed a 20-point victory earlier tonight here at Crenshaw, 78-58 over the Pride of Springfield College. When we get an opportunity a little bit later, we'll see if we can get some additional scores from around the NCAA tournament. Good crowd tonight, Crenshaw, as well. We mentioned it's a sellout. Filled in about midway through that first ball game. You've got the band playing here tonight, and great atmosphere for college basketball.
Yeah, it really is. Hopefully the Jackets continue to play on here in the second half and get themselves another home game tomorrow.
Jamie Wilson checks in the lineup along with Akeem Holmes and Chris Hamilton. So it's Hamilton, Simon, Badger, Holmes, and Wilson on the floor. Fresh 35 for the Bulldogs, inbounding from their baseline. Finds Coleman off the curl. He looks to drive baseline underneath, out of bounds. Tried to feed Deal. Tough pass. They're really forcing Coleman baseline. Tried to skip it across the lane, and Deal not ready for it. It's a turnover for DeSales.
And they did a nice job of cutting him off there and got to force a tough pass.
Badger into the front court. Hamilton will switch sides. Jamie Wilson swings through to the left side. Top of the key, it's Akeem Holmes misses the jumper down the line. That was Simon who fed it to him. Holmes misses the jump hook, cleared out of there by the Bulldogs.
Really different lineup in the ball game right now for the Jackets. A combination that I can't remember seeing before this year.
Callahan finds Coleman. Coleman draws a foul against Marcus Badger. I think that will be 3 on Marcus now with 14:42 to play. Trent Walker immediately off the bench for Coach Nathan Davis. He'll check in. Badger will go out. Only 2 fouls against Randolph-Macon in the second half, both of them against Marcus Badger. So 2 fouls against the Jackets, 3 against the Bulldogs. Inbound off the curl, they find Golden. Golden guarded by Jamie Wilson. Bounce pass off the high post. Deal underneath, they find Hash, and he'll score. A screen along the baseline, scraped off Chris Hamilton. Hash scores, and it's a 2-point lead for Randolph-Macon. Wilson front court with the dribble live. Handoff goes to Hamilton just outside the left hash. Top of the key, it's Simon. They're going to give Andre that jump shot if he wants it from the top of the key. Instead, he starts his move, and well contested, he'll draw the foul. And it's interesting, they're going to give him the jump shot. They're giving him about 3 or 4 feet. And he's still able to beat the guy off the dribble. Draws contact against number 40, Ryan Callahan. And Andre Simon will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Oh, what I like what he did there is he waited. He waited for Hamilton to try to run along the baseline a little bit, get out in the corner, see if that maybe would leave him open or draw a defender and give him a couple of options there with the ball.
And Andre did not score in the first half. He misses the first free throw. So the first team All-ODAC performer for the Yellow Jackets really has not been much of a factor on the offensive end. Foul was against Callahan, his first, the team's 4th. Second free throw also no good. Battle for the rebound. Saved by Akeem Holmes, but right in the hands of Coleman. So DeSales has the ball with a chance to tie it with a 2 or take the lead with a 3. Front court, they'll start it to Callahan. Rotates it back in the hands of Golden. Bounce pass right side to Coleman. Back out on the perimeter in the hands of Callahan. They'll rotate it to Golden. Left side now to Hash. Cross-court pass goes to Coleman. Looks to penetrate. Down the lane floater, and that's good. Good patient move as he got into the lane. A floater ties the ball game at 37. Jackets front court. Jamie Wilson starts it right side to Chris Hamilton. Trent Walker now in the right corner. Out of come to Andre Simon, top of the key. Rug goes right by Callahan and again draws the foul. Can't get the ball to go, but the Jackets are spreading their shooters. There's not a whole lot of help down the middle of the lane, giving Andre Simon a path to go one-on-one, and Callahan will get his second foul. Now you just need to make some free throws.
Well, you're right. That's what I liked about that set there. A little bit more spread out than the previous time. Andre did pretty much the same thing, but
first free throw rattles home. Joe Assell will check back in. He'll replace Akeem Holmes. 5 team fouls now against the Bulldogs with 13:24 to play. Simon at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good. Andre Simon will go to the bench. Evan Jackson will check in, so it'll be Jackson, Hassell, Wilson, Walker, and Hamilton on the floor. Coleman, Callahan, Hash, Laird, and number 33, Poorman on the floor for the Bulldogs. Poorman left side, guarded there by Jackson. Back out on the perimeter, they find Laird. Swings it right side to Coleman. Back it comes to Laird. 21 on the shot clock. On the ball defense, Jamie Wilson poked away for a moment by Wilson. Out on the perimeter, they find Poorman. Good pressure by Evan Jackson. 12 on the shot clock. They get the back door blocked by Joe Assell. They spread the floor. Looked like Hash was going to have a wide open reverse layup. Good recovery by Joe Assell. Bats out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs with 9 to shoot.
Right, I think I was kind of disappointed to be another late shot clock situation. They worked away for a layup. Good recovery by Joe.
Inbounds comes to Coleman. Left baseline, cut off there by Walker. They reversed it out top of the key to Laird. Right side now to Hash. 4 on the shot clock. Hash down the lane. Loses it for a moment. Couldn't get it go, but the follow is good by Ryan Callahan. Hash took it to the rim. Callahan cleans it up to tie us at 39. Wilson front court, right side now to Trent Walker. Walker finds Hamilton, top of the key, open 3. Side rim no good, and a rebounding foul called against Randolph-Macon. Evan Jackson with the elbow knocks Hash to the deck. And you can see Trent Walker clapping his hands as he makes his way down the court, saying, Chris, you got to continue to shoot that shot, even though it was a miss. Aggressive play on the board for Evan Jackson. He gets whistled for the foul, his first, the team's third.
Yeah, and the break there for DeSales. Chris Hamilton wide open, top of the key. I mean, you're not going to miss that too often.
Bulldogs start it front court. Callahan operating inside the right hash. Good ball pressure by Joe Assell. Over the top, they find Hash. Tipped out of there, controlled by the Yellow Jackets. Trent Walker in the front court. Handoff goes back to Hamilton. 3 in transition. That's off the side rim. Battle for the rebound. Joe Assell with an offensive rebound underneath. Wide open Trent Walker for 2. They lose Walker after Joe Assell gets the offensive rebound. Randolph-Macon back up by 2. It's 41-39. Right side, they'll start to Hash. Guarded there by Hamilton. Callahan, top of the key, rotates it left side to Coleman. Coleman motions for Laird to cut through. Takes it baseline, now reverses it back out to Poorman. Callahan on the perimeter. Backdoor not there. Hash goes to the dribble, working against Hamilton. Takes it baseline. They're going to call a bumping foul on Chris Hamilton. I think the Jackets were anticipating a handoff there maybe to Laird. Hash keeps it, takes it to the hole, not a shooting foul. It'll be against Chris Hamilton, the 4th against Randolph-Macon. Media timeout with 11:39 to play. It's 41-39 in favor of Randolph-Macon. It's a 2-point ball game at the half, Andrew. Still a 2-point ball game now. Very evenly matched teams.
Yeah, they really have been. I think you've got to continue to give DeSales credit for making some tough shots. Jackets have had a few more opportunities to get in transition a little bit more here in the second half and done a pretty good job of, even though the shots haven't gone down, to just kind of making things happen as a result of it. But, bottom line is, just DeSales kind of making some plays. The shot clock's wanting to get a 3 to go, or they miss a shot, but they get the tip in on the offensive rebound. It's kind of let them hang around. Just hopefully the Jackets can get themselves in a situation where they can put together a couple of stops defensively and get a couple run-outs and really give themselves a little bit of breathing room here. I feel like that's just to give themselves a chance. DeSales has been a scrappy team. They found themselves down, I think, both games of their league tournament and came back to win, and we're seeing that here today.
And DeSales is shooting 60% in the second half. They're 6 of 10 from the floor, including 2 of 3 on their three-point attempt. Randolph-Macon, meanwhile, only at 39% in the second half, 5 of 13, 0 for 3 on their threes. Bulldogs continue to win the battle of the boards 32-26. Randolph-Macon still with that 1 turnover in the ball game. Bulldogs with 10. Out of the timeout, 11:39 to play. It'll be Connor Sullivan, Joe Assell, Marcus Badger, Trent Walker, and Evan Jackson. So a little bit smaller lineup. You've almost got a 3-guard lineup and Evan Jackson and Joe Assell on the floor. Hash gets it back along the baseline, guarded there by Sullivan. Tipped out, poked out to Coleman. Nice recovery to keep it. Thought it was heading our way there for a moment. Laird now with the dribble out high. Bounce pass mid-post. Calder now off the top of the key. Hand up goes back to Hash. Hash looks to penetrate. Good rotation there by Trent Walker. Baseline jumper. That's Coleman, and that's good. 3 out of the corner, and that's a lead now for the Bulldogs, 42-41. Coleman drains the 3 from the end of the Bulldog bench.
I think the first lead they've had since it was 4-2.
Sullivan front court for the Yellow Jackets. Finds Trent Walker right side. Top of the key now, Evan Jackson. Rotates it now to Badger. Badger comes Trent Walker, top of the key. 15 on the shot clock. Joe Assell right side. Pumps the pass. Now spins off the glass. Takes it to the hole. Blocked from behind. Controlled by the Bulldogs. Deal with the rebound. Laird into the front court. Finds Coleman. Coleman tracked in there by Walker. He'll pull it back out and reset the offense. High ball screen set by Deal. Coleman gives it off the Deal. Gets it back. Behind the screen. 20 on the shot clock. Coleman with a dribble, pulls it back out, motions for Laird to cut through. Working out high against Walker. Coleman picks up the dribble, feeds it to number 32, Kohler. Kohler with 8 on the shot clock, right side. Handoff goes back to Coleman, jump shot baseline, rattles off the mark. Offensive rebound, Hash pulls it back out. Laird will fire the 3. That's back rim, no good. Badger with a rebound. Jackets look to run. Right side, Connor Sullivan, 3 on the way in transition. That rattles off the mark. Offensive rebound, Trent Walker. Ball deflected, ball loose on the floor, controlled by the Bulldogs. In the front court comes Hash. 1-on-1 against Joe Assell. Goes to the right hand and gets the left to go. Frantic pace, but Hash finishes with the right hand, and the Bulldogs have their largest lead of the ball game at 3.
That's a tough finish, and that break for Sullivan, wide open 3. The other one's halfway down. It just doesn't all the way go for him.
Connor Sullivan in the front court. 9:38 to play. Left side, Walker. Top of the key, it's Evan Jackson. Jackets need to get a good look this time down. Walker, left side back, it comes to Jackson. He'll put it on the floor, kick it opposite. Badger out of the corner, that's no good. Actually falls through. Called it a miss, got the kind bounce off the rim. It went straight up in the air and fell down through. Quick timeout called for by Coach Davis. Big jumper there by Badger as he ties it at 44.
I mean, I think it's at some point in time, as a player, you've almost got to feel insulted by the way that they're just playing off of you. I mean, they're daring you to shoot it. And I think have a little bit of pride there to challenge yourself to step up and make a jump shot and get on a little friendly roll there. Maybe makes up for the one that Sullivan didn't get to go down for. But the Jackets have tied it up, and need that. We just got to continue to try to just hopefully make some shots. I mean, it's just really that's what they're giving you. You're going to have to try to get it, and hopefully maybe your big guys can sneak in there and find a way to make a play. But on the defensive end, I mean, DeSales is just they're finding a way. Done a good job a couple of times of driving and kicking out and making some jump shots there. But they're playing at their tempo. They're slowing things down, and they're been able to throw something up there at the end and getting it to go. And as a result, they've taken a lead, and it's a tie ball game now.
9:21 on the game clock. Ball game tied at 44. Possession now right now belongs to the Bulldogs. 5 fouls in the second half against DeSales. 4 called against Randolph-Macon. So neither team in the bonus at this point in time. We'll set the lineups as we come out of the timeout. Looks like for the Yellow Jackets, it's going to be Connor Sullivan, Andre Simon, Lamont Moore, Marcus Badger, and Joe Assell. So the starters back on the floor for Coach Nathan Davis. Deal, Coleman, Kohler, Hash, and number 12, Michael Golden on the floor for the Bulldogs. Inbounding, it'll be Deal working in the backcourt with Golden. Clears the timeline. Jackets in their half-court man-to-man. They'll start it right side to Deal. Closed out there by Andre Simon. Ball pressure. Coleman now down the lane. Jump stop in the lane. Tough shot. Doesn't get it to go, but it'll draw the foul. Nice ball fake. He showed it once and tried to slide by the defender. And
kind of got bumped as he slowed up. He got a bump. They could call it on Joe. I thought maybe a bump coming from behind, but
Mike Coleman at the free throw line to shoot 2. First is good.
And his dribble penetration is in the second half, giving the Jackets giving them fits. Haven't tried to pressure it as much and trap off the screen as we did in the first half.
Second free throw is also good by Coleman. Bulldogs up by 2, 9:07 to play. Inbound in the backcourt comes to Marcus Badger. Badger with a handoff to Connor Sullivan. High ball screen set by Joe Assell. They'll reverse it back to Badger left side. Dump it down left block to Assell. Double team. Badger with a jump out of the corner. No good. Cleared out of there by Deal. Bulldogs take their time into the front court. Golden with the dribble live. DeSales up by 2. They trailed by 2 at the half. Starts it right side to Deal. Deal with a dribble. Handoff to Coleman on the perimeter. Being chased there by Moore. 18 on the shot clock. Coleman cross-court pass. Baseline, that's Kohler. Back at it comes to Hash. Hash down the lane. Tough finish, doesn't get it to go. Gets his own rebound out of bounds. It'll stay with, go over to Randolph-Macon. Made him take a difficult shot down the lane. The Jackets will get it back. They're down by 2, 46-44 with 8:24 to play. Badger into the front court. Starts at left side to Connor Sullivan, and an offensive foul called against Randolph-Macon. That's going to be against Lamont Moore, I believe, for an illegal screen. And that'll be his third. So Moore with 3, Badger with 3. Evan Jackson will check back in the lineup. He's going to replace Joe Assell. Turnover gives it back to the Bulldogs. 16 fouls now against Randolph-Macon. So the Bulldogs will be shooting at least 101 the rest of the way. Golden front court. Double high post set. They find Kohler off the right elbow. Down low, a foul called against Connor Sullivan. They bring their bigs out and they run their guards along the baseline. Connor Sullivan trying to deny the pass into the low post, and he's going to get a call for the foul against Kyle Hash. And Hash will go to the free throw line. It should be a one-on-one opportunity.
Yeah, they've done a good job. Few occasions they've gotten buckets out of that.
And they shoot, we talked about in the pregame, at 76.7% as a team from the free throw line. And Hash makes the first. at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good, so 4 free throws made now for the Bulldogs. They push their lead to 4, 48-44 as we approach 8 minutes to play. Badger into the front court. Works his way to the left side, keeps the dribble alive. Out it comes to Evan Jackson. Jackson will fire the jump shot, and that's good. Tough catch, had to scoop the ball off the deck. Nice clean look for Evan Jackson, brings his team back to within 2.
And that's what we need. I mean, he could make that jump shot, just something to help keep the defenses honest.
Front court, Kohler brings it left side to Hash. Hash takes it baseline, cut up there by Connor Sullivan. Good ball pressure by Connor. Underneath, Golden. Out on the perimeter comes to Coleman. Coleman, that's going to be an offensive foul. Lamont Moore recovered well. Coleman used that right arm to try to shed the defender. Turnover for the Bulldogs. Jackets will get it back. 7:28 to play, and that'll be a media timeout. 48-46. DeSales University with a 2-point lead. That's a big call. I think that's the right call there.
Right, it was. I mean, you can see his arm was starting to extend as he was driving into the paint there. Nice job recovering by Lamont, as you mentioned. So Jackets get a big stop there and an opportunity to get the ball back and tie this thing. I mean, obviously they'll be shooting free throws the rest of the way too. I just think you're not shooting the ball well. You've got to try to just find a way to pound it down low. Get it to Joe, get it to Dre, and just let them try to make plays. You know, if they don't get maybe they get fouled, maybe they get rebounds, maybe they, just make something happen. Just got to get back to being aggressive. And let's see right now, Jackets 4-17 from beyond the arc, and it's a lot of three-point shots to take when you've only made 4 of them. So.
And the second half, DeSales shooting 53% overall, 3 of 5 on their three-point attempts. Randolph-Macon at 39% second half, 7 of 18 overall. DeSales winning the battle of the boards 36-28, including 13 offensive rebounds. Kyle Hash leads the way for the Bulldogs with 17 points. Mike Coleman with 15. Nobody in double figures right now for the Yellow Jackets. Jamie Wilson still leads the way with 8. 3 turnovers in the ball game for Randolph-Macon, 12 for the Bulldogs. So we'll set the lineups as they come out of the timeout. 7:28 to play. It'll be Badger, Jackson, Sullivan, Moore, and Andre Simon for Randolph-Macon. Golden, Deal, Coleman, Hash, and Kohler on the floor for the Bulldogs. Randolph-Macon with possession. Badger brings it into the front court. Top of the key, starts at left side to Connor Sullivan. Sullivan feeds it to Evan Jackson. Zone being shown this time down, it looks like, by the Bulldogs. Baseline, they find Andre Simon. Backs his man down. At it comes on the perimeter. Connor Sullivan penetrates down the lane. He goes, and he'll draw the foul. They looked like they were packing in maybe a 3-2 zone. Jackets skipped it over the top, and Connor Sullivan aggressively takes it to the hole. First foul of the ball game called against Andrew Kohler. 17 fouls each way now, so both teams shooting the 1-1, and Connor Sullivan at the free throw line. There should be 2.
Yep, that's one of the see that for the last 7 minutes is similar, aggression on the offensive end. Just get in there, attack, quit settling for jump shots, unless you've passed it around and you've gotten yourself open. But
first free throw's good by Sullivan.
See guys driving, guys trying to make plays, and just like you see there, got to get to the free throw line, get yourself a chance to shoot some free throws.
Sullivan at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good. We're tied at 48. 7:05 to play here in the second half. Hash into the front court for the Bulldogs. Rotates it to Deal. Gives it up to Coleman right side. Coleman draws a double team. Picks up the dribble. Feeds it to Deal. Swings it to Pammer. Pammer on the perimeter. 21 the shot clock. Back to Coleman inside the right hash. Lamont Moore with defense on Coleman. Works his way down the lane. Draws contact. Can't get it to go. Does a nice job of coming off the high screen, floating down the lane and taking contact, and he'll go back to the free throw line to shoot 2. We mentioned he's not a great three-point shooter, doesn't shoot that many. His game is more of a mid-range game, and now in the second half he's creating off the dribble.
That's 4th foul for Lamont, and won't as much contact there as he makes the first free throw. And
Trent Walker will check in the lineup for the Yellow Jackets. Also number 30, Travis Bryan, back in the rotation for the Bulldogs. Meanwhile, Mike Coleman, who made his first, at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good. 50-48 now in favor of DeSales. Badger front court. Back to the man-to-man are the Bulldogs. Left side, Trent Walker, top of the key. That's Evan Jackson. Right side to Marcus Badger. Baseline picked off, and they tried to feed it down low to Pammer. Pammer dropped down to double team the low post, and you fed it right to him.
That's the thing. He's playing off him so much, it's almost like you've got that entry pass double team.
Coleman, right side, draws contact. A foul against Evan Jackson. And that's going to send Coleman back to the free throw line, and I believe he's made his last 4. 9th foul now against Randolph-Macon, so this will be a 1-on-1, but everything the rest of the way with 6:15 to play will be a 2-shot opportunity.
Yeah, he's been 6 of 6 from the free throw line tonight.
First free throw's good. Evan Jackson whistled for his 2nd foul. And you're right, on the offensive end for Randolph-Macon, they're giving your guards jump shots. As the 2nd free throw is good. Back to a 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. You can't allow them just to pack it back in and cut the ball out of the low post. Walker on the perimeter. Works his way to the free throw line. Back at it comes to Badger. Now it's Evan Jackson. Swings it left side to Walker. 20 on the shot clock. Connor Sullivan left corner. Bounce past the baseline to Andre Simon. Works his way back. Badger top of the key. 13 on the shot clock. Back it comes to Badger. They'll pull it out, reset the offense with 9 to shoot. Badger between the legs, dribble, feed to Jackson. Corner jumper, Connor Sullivan, 3 on the way short. No good, gets his own rebound and sticks it back for 2. Knew the first one was short, chased it down for the offensive rebound. Connor's bucket pulls the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets back to within 2.
All right, let's get a stop here. Let's not foul.
Front court comes Coleman. They look to double team inside the right hash. Rotates it now to Deal. Hash, he'll fire the 3. That's clean and good. You can't leave him unguarded. Had a clean look, and that pushes the lead out to 5. Badger opposite end, finds Andre Simon. Simon will fire the 3. That's back rim, no good. Rebound controlled by the Bulldogs. Bryan pulls it down. 5:02 to play, second half. The DeSales Bulldogs with a 5-point lead. Trent Walker on the ball. Coleman with the ball, dribble out high. Feeds it right side to Hash. Cross-court pass. Pammer with an open 3, and that's good. Skip pass over the top, and it's an 8-point lead for the Bulldogs of DeSales with 4:43 to play. Heady played that time to skip it over the top of the defense.
And just 2 times in a row, not really running out on the shooters. 30-second timeout called by the Jackets, and they're in a little bit of trouble right now.
An interesting lineup the Yellow Jackets had on the floor last time down. Really the only true jump shooter you have on the floor at that point in time is Connor Sullivan. So it's difficult where the points are going to come from. And if they're going to pack that defense back in, you might want to see if you can get either Jamie Wilson or Chris Hamilton back in the lineup.
Yeah, you have to, down by 8, and granted, I think Chris Hamilton's, he's only got 2 fouls now, but you're going to have to kind of trade some of that offense for defense. You might start thinking that way right now if you're the Jackets, because you're right. They're just begging those guys to shoot the ball from the perimeter, and just really taking away our strength and doing a good job of it.
So out of the timeout, 4:43 to play. The Bulldogs of DeSales with a 58-50 lead. The lineup for the Yellow Jackets: Marcus Badger, Andre Simon, Trent Walker, Joe Hassell, and Chris Hamilton. Inbound in the backcourt goes to Badger. Lets it bounce, finally picks it up as he clears the midcourt stripe. Double high post set. They'll bring it right side with a dribble. Joe Hassell, top of the key. Handoff goes back to Hamilton. Jumper on the way from 15 feet. Gets it to go and draws the foul. Deal trying to fight through the screen. Bumps Hamilton. Hamilton goes to the floor, so Chris will get the bucket, and he'll shoot 1.
That's a spark that the Jackets needed. Not traditional 3, but it makes a free throw just as good as 1.
The foul goes up on the board against Cody Deal. His second. 8 fouls now against the Bulldogs. Hamilton at the line to shoot 1. Misses the free throw. Rebound pulled down by Joe Hassell. Fresh 35 for the Yellow Jackets. Right side to Hamilton. Bounce pass low post to Andre Simon. Simon spins on Deal. Misses the layup. It'll draw the foul. They had a 2-man game going right side. Hamilton fed it to Simon. Andre now will go to the free throw line. 2 shots. Everything will be a 2-shot foul the rest of the way with both teams at 9 fouls. Foul goes up against Cody Deal. 4:23 to play. Andre Simon at the line with a 2-shot opportunity.
It'd be nice if he makes both of these a 4-point possession for the Jackets.
First is no good. Side rim. So Simon with 1. Second free throw on its way. That's also no good. Tipped out of bounds. And it'll go over to the Bulldogs. Last touch by Trent Walker. So Jackets had 3 free throws that time down. Couldn't get the 3 to go. They did get the 1 bucket, pulled themselves back to within 6. 4:18 to play. Bulldogs with the ball in the front court. They chase the ball with Coleman against a double team. Finds Hash. Hash back to Coleman right side. Asking for the ball screen from Deal. Coleman operating against Walker. Cross-court pass goes to Hash. Hash looks to penetrate. Floater down the lane. Blocked by the Yellow Jackets. Badger with the run out. Hamilton in transition. Pump fake along the baseline, and he'll draw the foul. Nice find looking ahead. Marcus Badger to Chris Hamilton. And Hamilton will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. And that's the under 4-minute timeout. 3:52 to play. So out of the timeout, Chris Hamilton will shoot 2. The foul was called on Paul Palmer. 58-56 in favor of the Bulldogs. Jackets get a nice stop defensively that time.
And it led to a little bit of a run-out situation there. I mean, that would be really nice to get 2 more of those. Chris makes his free throws and then get a couple more just like that. It'd be fantastic. But you're right, finally got things kind of clogged up in the middle. Joe's in good position to help, got the block and knocked the ball loose, and we were able to go the other way with it. But, the second half, Coleman's been a lot more effective. We haven't done as much of the running the double team at us as we did in the beginning of the ball game. I think at halftime he only had 6 points on 2 of 7 shooting, and now he's 3 or 4 and has gotten 8 points from the free throw line. And so I think we got to try to run that back out. We got to gamble, and maybe you can make some plays. Guys get a little tight with the lead late, and maybe you get some apply some pressure, get a turnover. And you might give up a layup, you might give up a wide open jump shot, but I think at this point you've got to take some chances because stops have been hard to come by for the Jackets in the second half.
And I think defensively you've really got to try to play defense without fouling.
Right.
We mentioned they're a very good free throw shooting team, almost at 77%. They've been very effective from the line here in the second half. So 3:52 to play. Out of the timeout, it'll be Hamilton, Simon, Hassell, Walker, and Badger for the Yellow Jackets. Chris Hamilton at the free throw line to shoot 2. Hammer, Hash, Coleman, Bryant, and number 23, Cody Deal on the floor for the Bulldogs. Hamilton 0 for 1 on his last trip to the line. This time he'll be shooting 2. First is short off the front rim. The Jackets now have missed their last 4 free throws. Chris Hamilton line to shoot his second. Second is good. Pulls Randolph-Macon back to within 5, 58-53. Bulldogs into the front court, swings it to Deal. Right side now in the hands of Palmer. Back to Hash, rotates it to Coleman. High ball screen set there by Bryan. Coleman brings it out on the dribble. Rotates it to Hash, outside the right hash. Ball pressure by Badger. Back it comes to Coleman. Working left side with Bryan. Dribble live, top of the key. Deal will fire the 3. That's back rim, no good. Long rebound to Badger. Jackets look to run. Badger down the lane, kicks it back out. Chris Hamilton couldn't get the 3, instead feeds Badger in the corner. Simon down the lane, opposite Trent Walker, jump on the way. That's rattles home. Walker with a look from that right baseline, gets it a go. Couple kind bouncers from that right side for Randolph-Macon, and it's a 3-point ball game.
All right, here we go. It's going to stop. One more.
Palmer, front foot backdoor to Coleman, blocked by Joe Assell, and they'll call the foul. They had it set up. Coleman going baseline. Joe Assell rotated over. Looked like he might have gotten the ball, but they're going to call the foul with the body.
Yep.
And Mike Coleman going to the free throw line to shoot 2.
I think you're right. I think that the block itself was clean, but I think coming through kind of had some contact with the body.
So Mike Coleman at the free throw line to shoot 2. First is good.
Perfect 9 for 9 now from the line.
Senior guard, really, it's a helps you out quite a bit in a late game situation. You've got someone that can step up and make free throws as he makes both. Push the lead back to 5, 60-55. Badger lets the ball bounce across the mid-court stripe, finally picks it up. Brings it to the right side with the dribble. Pulls up from 17 feet. That rattles off the mark. Bryan with the rebound. Outlet comes in the hands of Coleman. He'll take his time clearing the timeline. You can see the Bulldogs really looking to spread the floor. On the perimeter, it's Hash and Coleman. This time they're content to dribble some clock. Hash gives it back to Coleman. 16 on the shot clock. Left side now to Deal. Back at it comes to Hash. High ball screen set by Bryan. Coleman down the lane. Has his shot blocked this time by Joe Assell. Out of bounds it'll go. It'll stay with the Bulldogs with 7 on the shot clock. 2:17 on the game clock.
Got to dig in here, finish the possession.
Hash will inbound.
Finish.
Coleman off the curl. Can't get the jumper off. 5 now on the shot clock. They forced a very difficult shot off the mark. Ball batted out. It's going to be controlled by DeSales. Fresh 35 corralled there by Hash. 2:05 to play. Coleman with the ball on his hip now out high. Trent Walker looking to try to get a 5-second call. Walker forces him out to the midcourt stripe. Ball goes to Deal. Right side now to Hash. 1:51 on the game clock. 17 on the shot clock. Right side now in the hands of Palmer. Back it goes to Hash. Hash working against Badger. Baseline cut up there against the double team. And he steps on the end line. Actually a travel call against Hash. So Jackets will get it back. Long defensive time on the end of that court.
Well, the big thing is they got the ball out of Coleman's hands, and Trent Walker, nice job, make sure he didn't get it back. So I think you've got to take that approach the rest of the ball game.
Badger rolls it across the midcourt stripe into the front court. Works his way to the right elbow. Out it comes to Simon. Back it comes to Badger. Top of the key, Hamilton. Bounce pass baseline to Joe Assell. Opposite they find Badger. Corner jump shot on the way by Trent Walker. That's no good. Long rebound. Cleared out of there by, looks like it's in the hands of Coleman.
He's open. I mean, open in the corner. You do a nice job passing it around. You just got to make one.
Front court they find Deal. Deal working against Simon. Out it comes to Coleman. 1:09 on the game clock. 18 shot clock. Coleman works his way to the top of the key. Now pulls it back with a dribble. Deal touches it once, then back to Coleman. Coleman off the high screen. Hash will fire the 3. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by the Yellow Jackets. Walker into the front court. Down the right side he goes, and he'll draw contact, a foul in transition. That'll stop the clock, and Trent Walker will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. 50.4 on the game clock. Randolph-Macon down by 5, 60-55. 3 fouls now on Mike Coleman. Trent Walker at the line to shoot 2. First is good. Walker has one more. Trent Walker at the line for the Yellow Jackets to shoot his second. Second is also good. It's a 3-point ball game, 1 possession game. Hamilton will check out. Lamont Moore will check in. 50.4 on the game clock.
Let's see if the Jackets play for the stop here with 15 seconds to try to foul and extend this game out, because if you really limit your opportunities to come back if you just try to defend one time here.
Kyle Hash into the front court. Pulls it back out on the dribble, guarded out high by Lamont Moore, and a timeout's going to be called for by Scott Koval. A little bit of confusion. I think he was motioning for them to run their offense. Hash thought maybe come over and they were going to call a timeout. And then you could see Koval saying, no, back out in the middle of the floor. And finally they'll take the 30 with 39.7 on the game clock, 25 on the shot clock. It's 60-57 in favor of the Bulldogs of DeSales. They trailed by 2 at the half. Possession now right now favors the Bulldogs as well, and the Jackets just need to get a stop on the defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is, but the only thing I don't like about that is everybody in the world knows you've got to get a 3, and you're probably going to have one guy on the floor that's going to be, that's you can probably rely on that can make it, and you're not giving yourself as much of an opportunity, though, unless you're going to figure get a stop, a quick 2, and then maybe foul and see what happens from there. But that's kind of the gamble you run. You know, if you, just try to play defense here, down 3. Down 2, it's a completely different story, I think.
Hammered inbound, flashing the ball. They find Coleman. Coleman working between the circles, guarded there by Walker. 20 on the shot clock. They find Deal beyond the top of the key, guarded there by Simon. He'll use the dribble. High dribble, nearly loses it, recovers it on the sideline, and a timeout called for by the Bulldogs. Good pressure on the ball, and Andre Simon, you can see motioning, thought that might have been a carry, but the timeout will go to the Bulldogs. 10 on the shot clock, 25.3 on the game clock. Still a 3-point lead at the 32nd timeout, so Jack is doing a pretty good job defensively.
Yeah, I mean, they're forcing the Deal's hands in the corner there. I mean, I think that's where you want it to go for the Jackets. Again, said a minute ago, you've got to get it out of Coleman's hands and make somebody else make a play here. Preferably not Hash. He's had a hot hand too, but Coleman's been such a playmaker for them. You can't let him in ball, and if you're Walker, you got to kind of deny that pass and or deny him getting the ball back here late in the shot clock, and then box out. You got to get the rebound. Obviously, if you force some tough shots here out of them in the second half, sometimes you haven't gotten the rebound. All for naught if you don't finish the possession.
So out of the timeout, 10 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock, 25.3 on the game clock. Possession with the Bulldogs in the front court. It'll be number 14, Paul Palmer, who inbounds down at the end of the Bulldog bench. Slapping the ball, cutting to the ball. They try to get it to Coleman. Jackets do a nice job of
5
denying
seconds.
that. Gets it to Hash. Hash handoff to Coleman. Coleman motions for everybody to back off. He'll go one-on-one against Trent Walker. Deep 3. That's front rim, no good. Andre Simon with the rebound. Jackets into the front court. And a quick timeout called for by Coach Nathan Davis. 11.9 on the game clock. Chris Hamilton, Connor Sullivan, and Jamie Wilson will all check in the lineup for Randolph-Macon. So you've got 11.9 on the game clock. You've got to run a set to get one of your 3-point shooters a look.
And clearly that's what, the Jackets, by putting that personnel in, clearly that's who, what the Jackets are going to try to do here. And I think what the play is going to be is I think you can have Marcus in the ball game. You try to have him drive, and then have Jamie and Chris and Connor, somebody trailing the play, kind of coming back behind. Hopefully they get set, and Marcus draws the defense and kicks it out to one of those guys and bang it for a 3 and tie this thing up. But I think you've used Marcus kind of as a decoy to draw the defense, try to penetrate the lane a little bit, see if you can kind of get a kick out to somebody. You've got 3 guys there that can knock down that shot, and hopefully you get it to the right one, and they do.
11.9 on the game clock. 3-point lead for the Bulldogs of DeSales University. It's 60-57. 10 fouls each way, so everything's a 2-shot foul the rest of the way. Possession arrow belongs to the Bulldogs. Jackets, we could see, were substituting in Connor Sullivan, Chris Hamilton, and Jamie Wilson, their 3 best 3-point shooters. And you're right, Andrew, you just got to run a set, see if you can set a screen, and see if you get a clean look. If it doesn't go down, you've got to get a foul right away and try to extend this ball game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the tough thing. I mean, you did a good job. You get a stop, but you're limiting yourself in this situation to really one maybe 2 opportunities here. But somebody step up here and make a play.
Andre Simon, Joe Assell, Jamie Wilson, Chris Hamilton, and Connor Sullivan on the floor for the Yellow Jackets. It's Golden, Coleman, Hash, Hammer, and in the low post, that's number 32, Kohler on the floor for the Bulldogs. Inbound, Hassell into the backcourt, finds Jamie Wilson. Wilson clears the timeline, brings it right side. Picks up the dribble, off the curl, Chris Hamilton, deep 3. Hamilton nails the 3. Ball game tied at 60. 3.5 on the game clock. Got a look, and the young man from Ohio drains it. 3.5 on the game clock, and the stands behind us just erupted.
Well, Sage, just like last time the Jackets hosted a sectional, I believe my man Kirk Bergman had to hit a 3 in a similar situation to tie a ball game and send it to overtime. Eric Pugh hit one up at St. Mary's in the first round against Alvernia a couple years ago. But still, they put 4.2 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time to come down. Fouls, 10 fouls. So
you can see Coach Davis asking why more time on the clock. So they did adjust it. It's 4.9, and Coach Davis is asking for. Actually, the official going down to the DeSales bench, motioning them to come out. And a full timeout now called for by DeSales. So, quick game reset. 4.2 on the game clock. Ball game tied at 60. 10 fouls each way. Possession arrow belongs to DeSales right now. Right now for the Yellow Jackets, off that big three from Chris Hamilton, you just got to try to get a stop. Don't let him get a good look. Certainly can't foul in this situation. Try to play your way into overtime and take your chances.
Right. I mean, what a big shot there by Chris, and a nice screen there at the top of the key to get him open. And it wasn't like a set shot either. He kind of had to turn into that one a little bit. But the thing
floating. Yep.
Again, I'm sure they're going to try to run a play to get Coleman, set a screen to get Coleman kind of going to his right, coming up the floor with a head of steam with 4 seconds left. Got to deny the inbounds to him. Got our best defensive unit on the floor with Lamont, Marcus, and Trent, Dre, and Joe Assell. So got to really have to deny him the ball, make somebody else try to bring it up the floor and beat you. And like I said, hopefully you make a stop and get into overtime.
Deal, Hash, Coleman, Hammer, and number 32, Kohler on the floor for the Bulldogs. Deal inbound in the backcourt. 4.2 in the game clock. Able to run the baseline. Gets it to Coleman. Coleman crosses the mid-court stripe. Drives down the lane. Gets the floater. No good. He got a great look, Andrew. Just couldn't get it to go. And we're going to overtime.
Yeah,
that's
really
good
of
a look to give him late in the ball game.
Good of a look. I mean, you get guys that get a little tentative about giving a foul there, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was in. That was as clean a look, I think, as you're going to get in that situation. But he put it up a little too strong. Came off the back end. The horn sounded, and no time for a tip-in. So we've got free basketball. And I'd be honest, 58-50. I wasn't the way things were going. If they hit those couple threes, I wasn't so sure of that. But the Jackets finally clamped down on the defensive end after that second three by Pammer. No more field goals the last 4:43 of the ball game. Just a couple of free throws from Coleman, and the Jackets really buckled down defensive end. And
that really shows you how far you can go with 4.2 in the game clock. He got all the way to the other baseline, really, and got a floater up off the glass that didn't go. But the Jackets lived to play into overtime. And we get some stat sheets here through the second stanza. Randolph-Macon now shooting 35% on the ball game compared to 36% for the Bulldogs, so very evenly matched there. Jackets still with only 4 turnovers compared to the Bulldogs' 13. Leading scorer in the ball game right now, Mike Coleman with 21. Kyle Hash also with 20. Trent Walker with 10 for the Yellow Jackets. Chris Hamilton with 10, and Connor Sullivan with 10. Starting overtime, it's going to be Chris Hamilton, Connor Sullivan, Andre Simon, Marcus Badger, and Joe Assell for the Yellow Jackets. Travis Bryant, Kyle Hash, Mike Coleman, Cody Deal, and Paul Pammer for the Bulldogs. As you mentioned, free basketball, they'll jump it up to start the overtime session.
Like I said, Chris Hamilton out here to start overtime. Lamont Moore's been sitting on the bench for a while with 4 fouls, but they said just the way you've been struck, I think with the matchups, if maybe Pammer maybe not 100% for DeSales, maybe you can take a chance and maybe not having your best defensive lineup out here right now.
Opening tip, slapped into the backcourt, nearly out of bounds. They have to save it to the Bulldogs. Pammer saves it. Nice save to get it to Hash. And the first possession of overtime belongs to DeSales. Pammer, front court, picks up the dribble, gets it to Bryan. Bryan bounce pass left side in the hands of Coleman. Coleman baseline, not there. Deal steps back, fires a 3. That's off the mark. Assell with the rebound. Jackets get it to Badger. Marcus into the front court. Hamilton couldn't get the 3 off. Reverses the top of the key to Joe Assell. Joe with the dribble live. Feeds Marcus Badger left side. Badger, 15-footer. Rattles off the mark. Tip no good. Assell got a hand on it. Deal clears the rebound. Bulldogs into the front court. Hash with the dribble. Reverses the top of the key to Deal. Back it comes to Hash. Handoff goes to Pammer. On the perimeter, they'll pull out Bryan on the perimeter. Feeds it right side to Hash. Hash looks to drive baseline. Cut off there by Sullivan. Ball nearly stolen by Andre Simon. Tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. 12 on the shot clock. 3:59 on the game clock. Ball game tied at 60 here in overtime.
Yeah, last time down, Marcus's shot was halfway down, and then the tip back got stuck on the other side of the rim. A tough break there for the Jackets.
Pammer inbounding in the corner, and a foul's going to be called against Connor Sullivan. He fouls Kyle Hash, that is. Trying to fight through a screen.
It's a shame. I think they're arguing. Maybe both bodies getting tangled up there, but
so it's going to send Kyle Hash to the free throw line. 2-shot opportunity.
And you take that with 12. There's 12 on a shot clock there. I mean, you hate to have that situation, but it is what it is.
So Hash at the line, 2 shots. First is good.
It'd been nice for the Jackets to draw first blood in overtime, continue that momentum you get from making the three. You haven't had the lead in a while, but with Hash's free throw, they'll take a 1-point lead.
He's at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good, and they've been very tough from the free throw line.
90%, 16 of 18.
Front court come the Yellow Jackets. Badger with the dribble live. Half court man-to-man being shown by the Bulldogs. Badger top of the key finds Simon. They dump it down to now back to Simon. Misses the floater. Rebound pulled down by number 30, Bryan. Tough shot in the lane. The Bulldogs will have it with possession up by 2. 3:36 to play here, overtime. Skip pass goes to Palmer. They rotate it back on the perimeter to Coleman. Coleman working against Badger, poked away for a moment. Swings it back to Hash. Hash back to Coleman, 16 on the shot clock. Working out high against Badger, picks up the dribble, bounce pass now goes to Bryan. Bryan facing against DeSales, 7 on the shot clock. Deal with the handoff back to Coleman. Coleman loses it for a moment, spins its way down the lane. Floater no good, putback no good, and a foul, and the rebound's going to be called against Joe Assell. Coleman got to the rim, couldn't get it to go. The follow's no good by Travis Bryant, but the foul on the rebound called against Randolph-Macon, and Bryant will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Bryant looking for his first points of the ball game.
So 3:08 to play. 62-60 in favor of the Bulldogs of DeSales. Both teams shooting 2 shots the rest of the way. They call that foul on Joe Assell, his third. Bryant at the free throw line. Makes the first. Not as clean as his backcourt mates, but gets it to go. Travis Bryant at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good. And it's a 4-point lead for the DeSales. Jackets into the front court as we approach the 3-minute mark here in overtime. Starts it left side to Connor Sullivan. Top of the key, Andre Simon. Right side now to Badger. Marcus with the dribble brings it back to the top of the key. Right side to Hamilton. Couldn't get the 3. Instead, Joe Assell down low. Off the glass, and that's good for 2. Match him up against Cody Deal on the low post. Took it right through Deal for 2. 2-point lead for DeSales.
And I think by having Hamilton on that side, it makes DeSales just be a little bit more honest defensively. Can't quite collapse as quickly.
Hash bounce pass to Deal. Deal operating beyond the top of the key. Handoff goes back to Palmer. Right side now to Coleman. Coleman matched up against Badger. Jumper on the baseline. Wow. That's good. Clean look from about 17 feet. Coleman knocks it down. It's back to a 4-point lead. Badger front court. Rotate to DeSales. Joe with the handoff back to Hamilton. Bounce pass baseline to Joe Assell, facing up against Deal. Backs his man down in the lane, turns into a double team off the glass. No good. Battle for the rebound, controlled by the Bulldogs. They forced him to take a difficult shot. Under 2 minutes to play, 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. Deal front court to Palmer. Palmer being chased by Badger. Reverses it now to Coleman, who gives it up to Hash. Ball screen set by Bryan. Hash with the dribble top of the key. Picks it up. Bryan back to Hash. 15 now on the shot clock. Back at it comes to Palmer, who hands it off to Coleman. 8 on the shot clock. Coleman with the dribble top of the key. Jumper on the way, 3 on the way, and that's good. Big jumper that time by Mike Coleman. It's a 7-point lead. 1:26 to play. Jackets into the front court. Joe Assell, handoff to Connor Sullivan. Sullivan down the lane. His floater dumps it underneath. Action to Andre Simon. He finishes for 2. And a timeout called for by Coach Nathan Davis. 1:16 on the game clock. 69-64 in favor of the Bulldogs. And that's a big 3 late in the shot clock by Mike Coleman.
Yeah, he's got 26 now. And he's made a bunch of big plays for him coming down the stretch. And he's done a good job creating. And the last 2 jump shots he's made have been tough. And Jackets got themselves in the backs against the wall again right now. Minute 16 to go, down 5, but you got to try to find a way to have somebody else with the ball in their hands for the DeSales. Trying to make that shot, make that play as the shot clock's winding down.
Adding the timeout for the Yellow Jackets, it's Walker, Assell, Badger, Simon, and Lamont Moore. 1:16 on the game clock. 5-point lead for the Bulldogs in overtime here. The ball game was tied at 60 at the end of regulation. It'll be Hash, Deal, Palmer, Coleman, and Bryan on the floor for the Bulldogs. No pressure in the backcourt from the Yellow Jackets. In it comes to Hash. He'll clear the timeline. Gives it up to Deal, rotates it to Coleman. Coleman working against Walker. They back off with the ball screen. Coleman now starts his dribble. 23 on the shot clock, 1:02 on the game clock. Coleman with the dribble live, gives up to Hash left side. Still operating well beyond the top of the key. 13 on the shot clock. Hash motions for Coleman to come get it. Now Hash starts his move down the lane. Has his shot
What's a foul?
They're going to call the foul on Lamont Moore, and that will be Lamont's 5th. Joe Assell came over and got the block, but they're going to say Lamont bumped him with the body, and it's going to send Kyle Hash to the free throw line to shoot 2.
I guess.
And the tough thing is the Bulldogs really have not missed from the free throw line, so 48.4 on the game clock. Lamont Moore is fouled out of the ball game for the Yellow Jackets, 69-64. And Kyle Hash, the 6'2 senior from Phillipsburg, New Jersey, for the Bulldogs, will be going to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, the DeSales 18 of 20 from the free throw line and moved on a nice, only 37% from the floor. But I mean, they've certainly made the most of their opportunities from the free throw line. So, but yeah, so we'll see. I mean, they're due. Maybe that means they're just due for a loss. I mean, maybe they're just due for a miss right now, and but that's what the Jackets can need: a couple of misses here, or at least one to keep it a 2-possession ball game.
Out of the timeout for Randolph-Macon, it's Hamilton, Sullivan, Badger, Simon, and Hassell. Stepping to the free throw line, number 3, Kyle Hash for the Bulldogs.
He's an 84% free throw shooter, 6 of 6 in the ball game here today.
First is good.
Just come tournament time, postseason play, and you've got some senior guards that sometimes they can be such a big difference maker.
He makes them both. 7-point lead, 71-64. Jackets into the front court. Badger with a handoff to Hamilton. Hamilton with a 3. And that's good. Chris Hamilton with a 3. 4-point ball game. 42.1 to go. Left in overtime. And Hamilton, who nailed the 3 to send us to overtime, drains the 3 for the Yellow Jackets. So you've got life right now, Andrew. 42.1. Still a 2-possession ball game. See if you can get a steal. There's about a 7-second differential game clock, shot clock. So,
right. Well, I mean, certainly at this point, being a 2-possession game, you've got to try to foul or get a turnover first, and then try to foul and just extend this game. And hopefully, like I said, DeSales very good free throw shooting team, but hopefully the percentages start to catch up a little bit. 77% on the year, made just over 90% in this ball game. So
it'll be Andre Simon, Joe Assell, Trent Walker, Marcus Badger, and Evan Jackson on the floor for the Yellow Jackets. So their defensive squad, if you will. 42.1 on the game clock at 71-67 in favor of the Bulldogs of DeSales. We are in overtime after the ball game was tied at 60 at the end of regulation. Randolph-Macon will show full court pressure. Cody Deal will trigger it in for the Bulldogs. And a foul in the backcourt. Trent Walker thought he had the steal, but he knocked Hash to the deck. Trent actually ended up with the ball.
As he's saying in motion to Joe, he's that close, and he really was knifing in there getting a steal.
But it's going to send Kyle Hash back to the free throw line. And everything, it's been a 2-shot foul for quite a while now, and the Bulldogs simply will not miss from the free throw line. First is good.
Perfect 7 for 7 so far in overtime.
And he and Coleman combined.
Right. They're now 19 of 19. The only 2 came from Callahan, I believe, in the first half.
Hash at the line to shoot his second. Connor Sullivan and Chris Hamilton back in the lineup for the Yellow Jackets. Second free throw is also good. Hamilton with a quick inbound. Gets it to Badger. It's 73-67. Jackets down 6. Badger in the front court. Gets the handoff to Hamilton. Hamilton works his way top of the key. He'll fire the 3. Off the back rim, no good. Battle for the long rebound, controlled by Coleman. Jackets forced to give the foul. Actually going to say a held ball, and that'll be Randolph-Macon possession. So the Jackets will get it back with 27.2 on the game clock. The opening tip of overtime is controlled by the Bulldogs, so correct in the fact that the possession now gives it back to Randolph-Macon.
Coleman and Hash have 52 of 73 points for DeSales. first and second team all-league players.
Hamilton will inbound it. 27.2 in the game clock. Randolph-Macon down by 6. Badger takes the inbound. Works his way to the top of the key. Handoff goes to DeSales. Down the lane he goes. Has his shot blocked underneath. Battle for the rebound. Comes out to DeSales. That's Coleman with it. And Coleman will walk the floor to shoot 2. Foul called on Trent Walker, his first. Mike Coleman at the free throw line to shoot 2. First is good. Into the lineup for the Bulldogs, they'll check in number 12, Michael Golden. Out goes Deal. And it's just been amazing, Andrew, how they've been able to shoot free throws. They missed 2, and that was well back in the first half.
Yeah, both their guards have been perfect 10 for 10.
At the line, Coleman to shoot his second. He finally
misses one.
That's Simon with the rebound, gets it to Hamilton. 7-point ball game. Hamilton front court, 15 on the game clock. Hamilton's deep 3 off the back rim, no good. Coleman with another rebound, and he'll draw the foul from Hamilton. 9.7 on the game clock. And DeSales, the Bulldogs from DeSales University, are going to come into Crenshaw with a big upset. Looks like they will advance to tomorrow night's 7 o'clock ball game, where they will take on the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Mary Washington won easily tonight, 78-58 over Springfield. And Mike Coleman at the line to shoot 2. First is good. And a timeout called for by the Bulldogs. So it's tough for the Yellow Jackets, Andrew. You battle your way through. You get not only into the NCAA tournament, but you get a home ball game, something we haven't seen in 10 years, and just really can't take advantage of it. You got to give credit to the Bulldogs' scrappy bunch that their senior guards have really put this team on their shoulders and carried it. And from the free throw line, besides that last miss there by Coleman, they've been perfect. And just senior leadership in the backcourt, difficult to overcome in postseason play.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, 54 to 75 points now. And they just put on those two guys' shoulders. And that's kind of been the MO, like we saw with Mary Washington in the first ball game. When you play with a bunch of seniors, they're playing with the attitude of, next loss is my last ball game. So kind of leaving it all out there. And they've certainly played with it. They've had a great game plan for the Jackets and really made it force us to the outside to make jump shots. And the Jackets didn't do it. And, DeSales is on the way here to play Mary Washington.
Coleman to the line to shoot 2. Actually makes the second.
After the timeout.
Inbound in the backcourt goes to Badger. Badger into the front court. Handoff to Sullivan. Sullivan's 3 on the way from the left side. He gets fouled on the 3. That's not a smart foul. Even it's a 9-point ball game right now, but 76-67, 3.1 on the game clock.
Yep. Yeah, you just, like I said, it won't matter in the final outcome, but certainly got to be disappointing for our guys that play so well. Just maybe peaked a little bit too early. Did not play our best basketball. Connor makes the last couple weeks of the season.
Sullivan at the line makes his first. He shoots one more. Second is also good. It's a 3.1 on the game clock. Into the ball game comes Travis Bryant. And Sullivan shooting 3. He's got his third to go here. Third is also good. So there's a 6-point ball game, 3.1. They'll inbound it and just dribble out the clock. And DeSales will claim victory here over the homesteading Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon College, 76-70. DeSales improves their record to 19-9 overall. They will move on to the 7 o'clock ball game tomorrow night, where they'll take on the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. A 78-58 victory for the Eagles earlier tonight against the Pride of Springfield College. The Yellow Jackets will finish their season 20-7, losing here at home in the first round of the Division III National Tournament.
Yeah, really was surprised. Surprised that that's how it turned out for sure. But like I said, they had a good game plan. I would have thought at some point in time we would have been able to fight our way through it, find ways for get their big guys a chance to score. down the stretch or the ball game, or just wear them out, get them to the free throw line, like we've done other times when teams have done something similar to us, but just couldn't really find a way to do it. I thought it'd been big after that shot in overtime to come out and you'll get the lead going into overtime. Marcus' shot rims out and can't quite get the put back to go, and they come back down and take control of things in overtime. And
I think you're right. If you're able to get up in overtime and get back to where you've got the lead, you had a clean look from about 17 feet. Joe Assell gets a hand on the rebound, couldn't quite tip it in. Ball hit the underside of the rim. And if that goes at that point in time, you've got a lead. Maybe it's a little bit of a different ball game, but once DeSales gets that bucket and you're sort of playing from behind again, they just continue to parade to the free throw line and just really sealed the ball game from the line.
Really did. I mean, that's the thing. It all comes down to it. There's a 25 of 28 from the free throw line. Coleman and Hash are combined 23 or 24, and the one miss came at the very end. When the game was already, the outcome already pretty much been decided. So the guys stepped up and made those shots, when they needed to, and to consistently, and never really gave us an opening. And that's clutch. I mean, that's easier said than done here on the road. But those guys mentioned a good free throw shooting team, and they did it. If it hadn't been for that, I thought our half-court defense, from the possessions we fouled, was pretty good for the. And then pretty much for the last 5 minutes of regulation, and then to start overtime, and then Coleman just makes a couple of tough shots there, push I think back out to 7, 69-62, and then that was just is going to take a lot to try to overcome that from that point. So
the Yellow Jackets are going to say goodbye to Andre Simon and Jamie Robinson as they finish their 4-year career here. Certainly very good careers for both young men. Simon, first-team All-ODAC this year, went over 1,000 points during his senior year. Both gentlemen really represented themselves well, both on and off the court. They've got a lot to be proud of. They put up 4 20-win seasons, 4 consecutive trips to the NCAA tournament, 2 ODAC tournament titles, so they really put their stamp on the Yellow Jacket program, but it's going to be a tough goodbye for Andre Simon and Jamie Robinson.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm sure particularly as well as we were playing, just a couple of weeks ago, and, and I'm sure you've probably seen the thinking, well, we can hang another banner, but, have 3 ODAC titles, in their 4 years, and, make a run here in the NCAA tournament, particularly when you get an opportunity at home, and just wasn't meant to be. I'm sure this is not what they envisioned a couple of weeks ago, but I think you're right, Marty. I think both those players are very happy, very proud to have them as part of our program. They've represented us well and going to do 2 things. Just a shame that they're not going to get to move on and play a few more ball games, particularly here at home. So it's a shame to see them go. Fun to watch them play, but hopefully they'll be like some of the other guys that we've seen here today. Dylan Cole and Lamar Gidgets and Adam Desgain and some others that we've seen that continue to come back and be a part of the family here.
And as we wait for a stat sheet here to finish up tonight, it's going to be an interesting matchup tomorrow night, I think. That you've got great guard play, senior guard play for the Bulldogs, and we talked about how scrappy the Eagles for Mary Washington were, how much energy they came out with. I'm not sure if you can really look at it now and say who has an advantage, but certainly the backcourt for both teams, you've got very good shooters. It's going to be a heck of a matchup.
It will be, and neither one of them's got tremendous size. I mean, that was going to be the one thing, if the Jackets were able to advance, seeing how well Mary Washington overcame their size, some disadvantage in the first ball game. They had the same game plan that DeSales is going to have here, and so it'd be interesting to see now that the teams are pretty much sort of equal. DeSales probably a little bit more athletic out on the perimeter, but I tell you what, the game that Mora had, the point guard for Mary Washington, creating. If Mary Washington can feel as comfortable as they were making 3-point shots, they're going to be tough to beat. But at the same time, too, DeSales showed they're going to be tough to defend. Mary Washington, I think, showed they got a little bit more balance, at least from what we saw today, than what we saw out of DeSales. DeSales really loaded up on the 2 guys and really rode them to victory. Making some big plays. Mary Washington, after Reister, had made some threes early, and and Springfield really took him away. Some other guys stepped up, and made shots with him. Johnson, Asa Scott made a couple of threes in the second half. So that's what I think we'll look at there. Is that Mary Washington might have a little bit more balance, but it'll be an interesting ball game, and certainly being with both teams with a lot of seniors. Teams. With playing very well here at the end of the season. Both teams won their league tournament, and looking to continue their run here through March.
So just about ready to sign it off here. The Yellow Jackets lose tonight in the first round of the NCAA tournament, 76-60 to the Bulldogs of DeSales University. The Bulldogs move on to tomorrow night's 7 o'clock ball game where they will take on the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Mary Washington won 78-58 in the early ball game tonight over the Pride of Springfield College. The Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon finished their season at 20-7 overall, saying goodbye to Jamie Robinson and Andre Simon, two of the seniors. And tough way to end your season, but you and I will be back here tomorrow night for the call for the folks listening for DeSales and Mary Washington, and we'll see which team fights on to make the way to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, certainly didn't think we'd have to be Switzerland tomorrow, have to be the neutral third party, but it's a shame that the Jackets can't come on, but you're right. I think it will be a good ball game tomorrow, and whichever team comes out ahead of that a contest tomorrow, certainly well-deserving the Sweet 16. Like I said, DeSales has had won a lot of ball games over the last decade. Mary Washington, trying to make some program history there with Rod Wood, Macon alum. And so be a fun place, I'm sure, for him to try to do it back in his old home court.
So for Andrew Price, I'm Marty Wilson. We'll talk to you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock as the Eagles of Mary Washington College take on the Bulldogs of DeSales University in the second round of the Division III men's basketball tournament. We'll talk to you tomorrow night at 6:45.